everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Dyson Dudes, episode 4 of the Guns of Erroll campaign. Thank you all very much for joining us. We had I think, hopefully a better start today than we've had the last couple of weeks, so we're slowly getting better. You know, we're still amateurs here, but we're doing our best. We're going to do a couple of announcements, then we're going to get into the recap, and then we'll jump right into the game. We are short both of the Pauls tonight. One of them is out of town, the other one has some important issues that came up. We hope we have them next week. We plan to have a full house next week. We'll see if we can get everyone around the table. You know, this is the one benefit of having a large group, is when one or two people can't show up, you know, you still got plenty of people to play without really handicapping anything. So, we are tonight brought to you by our forever sponsor that we're always going to have, of David's Tiles and Terrain. Just put a whole lot of extra stuff up on eBay. We'll provide some links to that stuff. Lots of tile sets, lots of buildings for your outdoor terrain. Lots of, all of them have interiors and working doors, and each level you can pull apart so that way you can use each level of the building. Great stuff. I'm biased because I made it, but hey, I think it's awesome. We're also brought to you guys tonight by our friends that helped to start up the stream at Military Gamer Supply. Nick?
So on Tuesdays at 12 p.m., whenever we open, we have historical gaming. There's playtesting for that. At 6 p.m. on Tuesdays, we have Dungeons & Dragons Adventures and Age of Sigmar players showing up if you want to get on board with that. 6 p.m. we have Board Game Night, Dungeons & Dragons Adventures, and Oathbreaker for Magic, a new format. Thursday we have 6 p.m. Modern, Kill Team, Dungeons & Dragons, and Pokemon TCG. Then Friday we have Warhammer 40k Open Play all day. Friday Night Magic at 6 and Commander, and then 7 p.m. HeroClix. And then finally Saturday at noon Shadespire, and then 2 p.m. War Machine and Warma Hordes. And then Open Play on Sunday.
Very nice.
There's also going to be a Flames of War tournament, Late War 1650, on August 31st. So if you want to get some historical World War II gaming in, come on down.
What was that ship game that somebody was playing? I saw them post some pictures of it. Did you see it?
So one of the guys from Firewalker Miniatures has his own rule set. They're the company the MGS is paired with to put out the historical minis. They were playing the naval battle by his rule set. It's actually a really tight rule set.
It looked really fun. It looked really cool.
And that's part of the historical gaming that they're playtesting.
Very nice. Very nice. So definitely, if you guys want to check out some either ground combat or even some ship-to-ship combat in the Age of Sail, definitely head on to MGS and get some playtime in. It's good stuff. We're also brought to you by our friends over at Game Vault. Sonia, if you can help us out with that.
Yeah, Game Vault are wonderful sponsors. They are, of course, having their weekly scheduled events that we have coming out. You know, Pokemon, we've got Magic, and board gaming, of course, every Sunday. But they are also at Albuquerque's New Mexico Comic Expo on the 16th and 17th, I believe. So if you're in the area, go check them out. They also do have an upcoming event that we will be co-hosting, which is the Pokemon Kids Day on September 15th. A lot of fun, great turnout last time. We had about 20 kids.
Like 22 kids showed up.
22 kids come out. A lot of fun, a lot of parents, a lot of people getting
No cameras.
a lot of
that's
a lot of everybody getting some more sets and everything, especially with the Unified Mind stuff coming out this time.
All right. Oh, neither of the second was working? Okay. Okay. So just give us 1 minute. We're going to try. We just got to do a quick refresh on the cameras real fast. That won't take but a second. Yeah, we had a great time with it, with the Pokemon Junior League. Come out, meet some parents who know how to play, a lot of kids who know how to play. Spend some time, learn the game, you know, bond with your kids. It's a great time. Everyone has fun. We'll have people that can teach you how to play, and if you need help with like deck building or advice on what directions to go, what sets to pick up, you know, we got plenty of people that can do that as well. So definitely, you know, if you got a kid 6 to 12, bring them on down. You know, we'll have a great time. If we can get more of the younger generation coming to the Saturday tournaments, the kids will have their own little section to be able to play the tournaments. so that way they won't have to play against the adults. The kids will just play against each other, and it'll be a great time. You know, your first time that you go down there for your first tournament is free, and any other tournament is only $5, and you're guaranteed to walk away with a couple, like at least a pack, a booster pack. So really, you end up spending like $1, you know, to really play. So I mean, that's not bad at all. You know, so definitely come on down for that. We're also, we want to do a shout out again to our great friend and artist, you know, great friend of the stream, who's done all of this great artwork for us, by the name of Beatriz. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook. You just search for Bapjart, Bapjart. Check out all of her work. We absolutely love everything that she's done for us. We have these great posters that you can see. Got a great poster for Dyson Dudes. Absolutely love this. Call it our Avengers poster.
There we go. We're good.
Yeah, we call this our Avengers poster. Absolutely love it. You know, at some point here, pretty soon, we're actually going to get a signed version of these because, you know, we're all super famous. And we're going to go ahead and raffle that off to like one lucky fan that wants to get it, you know, shipped out to you free of charge. You know, just get the word spread around, you know. And Bapjart did such a great job with this. We absolutely love it. We all have so much more artwork from her too. So, Beatriz, we love you, and we keep spreading the good word of your work high and low all over Facebook and Instagram. You know, so thank you very, very much. We really appreciate it. Other than that, I think that's going to do it for our announcements tonight. So we're going to go ahead and cut away to our opening credits, and when we come back, we're going to be starting Episode 4 of The Guns of Erroll. We'll be back in a second. And welcome back. Now, last time, in episode 3 of The Guns of Erroll, the group had come upon a posse that was very, very aggressively approaching the sheriff's office. The group approached and tried to parlay after attempting to insult the leader of this group, and it not working out as well as they had hoped. After a very intense back and forth, Sheriff Wolverth and his deputy were able to defuse the situation and released a strange prisoner that they had for 100 notes, equivalent of 100 gold pieces for this, which is much more than what they should have needed for his release. After that, the group dispatched themselves to Squatter's Plot and found Delius, who agreed to meet with Sheriff Wolverth. After meeting with him, he tracked down Gunner and challenged him to a duel as he was bad-mouthing his brother. After attempting to cheat in the duel, at least his hobgoblin compatriot, a redo was done with Gunner turning out to be the victor. After that, they sat down for drinks, and he had an interesting conversation with Delius. Afterwards, they collected themselves back at the inn, and previously they had had a conversation with Sheriff Wolverth. With the information they had received from Delius, they had to find a man by the name of Merrick, though he did not know where this man was, where he would be, or anything really much about him besides his name. Delius used this as advantage to get you to assist him in a request. but you guys have a bit of information, as well as Dakin being approached by Lady Marigold Kreol with a problem she's having at one of her ranches. We come back with the game today with you all now once again collected back at the Ember Inn and contemplating what your next move will be.
Alright, so who else is going with me?
One note a day. 3 notes if I have to use my gun.
We already got some notes provided for us. We just need to go.
1 note a day. 3 notes if I have to use my gun. Share of whatever the profits are.
Of course.
Alright.
She forgot where I'm going.
Oh, there you are.
She's always here.
Now you have a habit of disappearing.
It's hard to see something by your ankle.
True.
Hard to see giant man when he's shot in the cock.
Do what?
You need a ladder to get up there?
No? Just magnifying glass.
Alright, well,
Oh, gonna shoot me at gnome today.
Where you're going?
we're going to the stables real quick. We have some writing provided for us. We're going to go ahead and go to Kreol Ranch. There have been some bandits just rustling up their Yolkeps. They call them. They're not horses.
Things.
That's hard thing to rustle.
Well, they're doing so.
The stupid things.
What's the difference?
You can't.
Yeah, the Yolkeps.
They don't move.
Well, they've been stolen.
Oh.
Speak up.
Cheer, they, it's really hard to move them.
Well, someone figured out how.
Okay. How much money?
We've been provided with 50 notes for expenditures.
Cheer thing needs supplies.
Yeah, that's what we're heading to the
General store?
not the general store, the stables.
Cheer think we need steak. Then go.
At this point, you guys have already
Yeah.
finished your lunches.
Cheer
This
needs
is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
steak. Cheer needs second steak.
You're going to get fat and short if you keep eating like
She
that.
must grow.
She'll be like a little ball.
Fanny right. Cheer needs grow.
That's full grown-ish.
Hmm?
It's like a rat, you know, they don't get that big.
Do you know the term midget?
Kinderly.
Scoot that way.
Oh.
There you go.
You might as well say it.
Just keep screwing a bit.
Trying to be professional, but we don't have a crew back there. We are our own crew. Okay.
Okay, fine. Cheer no eat second steak.
Alright. Let's go.
At this point, One Eye kind of stands up and tips his hat. And, I've got to be checking on a few things in town. I won't be able to join you just now, but if there's trouble, come back down and I'll help you out. And he walks out, and Caleb stands the same. And I have some a red friend I need to have a word with. It's a personal matter. When you all get back, definitely come and seek me out again. Cheer. Bye. And he walks out the door.
Wave wistfully.
And the DM is free of Jaeger.
Which man?
The I don't know. Cheer barely recall the conversation. The math.
Merrick.
That's it.
Yeah.
Which do we do first? Yolkep or whatever?
Well, money in hand.
But which pay better?
Money in hand.
And
May as well shoot people for money.
Well, we'll see.
Fine, Yolkep.
Alright. Then we'll head over to the stables.
Are the streets still mine?
Are you guys taking
Streets are
any
always
other
muddy.
equipment with you? Your packs, any of that? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
I will bring
Mm-hmm.
much.
okay. So the 5 of you collect up. Okay. You guys can collect your stuff at this point. Most of you are staying at the Ember Inn while you're staying have your free room within the Church of Morning Light.
Oh, yeah, you're still
You can pretty easily collect up your stuff.
Mhm.
You know, at this time of day, Sister Vrumati is not. She's probably about town, helping someone, assisting someone with prayer. You don't see her when you return to your quarters to collect up your equipment. So while he's doing that, you guys are at the Ember Inn, which is literally across the way from the Vesher stables.
I'm gonna go retrieve my Yolkep.
Okay.
Apparently they're necessary.
You meet, you see a familiar figure tolling about. He goes to make his way to you with a big smile on his face when right next to you another employee comes up and oh, hello, miss, how can I help you? And you see him just kind of, his face kind of fall a bit as he sees that.
I just point at him and then I'll go walk up to that.
And he kind of smiles again. And,
Oh no.
hello there. Beautiful
Oh,
Miss
yes.
Fian. Good to see you again. How can I be of assistance?
Need to get to Yolkep.
Oh, definitely. If you like to wait outside in the shade, give me about 5 minutes. I'll have him saddled up and brushed and ready to go for you. Okay? And he
I'll go find a
sets
tree.
about and there's a few trees just right out front of the Vesher stables that you can stand at under the shade. Today, it's humid. It is very humid. Thankfully, it's not as hot as it has been. Whatever storm that was, you still got a bit of a cold front that was moving in from the south. So it's not quite as blisteringly hot, but it's definitely that Georgia weather kind of. It's hot, but it's more sticky than anything. Like, it is very humid at this point.
Everybody who's been to the south is like,
It takes him about 5-10 minutes before he comes out with the Yolkep in hand, hands you the reins, and as he does, he says, "So, where are you headed out to? Fiona? You're not leaving Brownwater already, are you?
Ranch.
Kreol Ranch?
Fanny,
Hello?
Oh,
to give more context.
do you know how to get there?
They know.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll see you back here in a few days.
It's a big boy's cat.
You should have dinner with Fanny when we get back. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah?
he just suddenly goes beet red. He looks back over at Fian, then looks
Like-
back at you, and like, well, I mean, if Miss Fian would like to have a meal with me,
Yeah, it's beyond if you like it.
Yes. Fanny
If-
should have dinner with men.
and he just like stands there expectantly. You can see his entire body is on edge, waiting for your.
So, boy, what's your name?
Well, you're not there this
Oh,
time.
no. I am. What's his name? She'd want to know him.
No, the big one's there.
You know this one's name. This one's name is Marcus.
Does she actually remember his name? I'm sorry.
Marcus.
You've dealt with him a few times now, and he made sure to say his name quite a few times to you. So repetition has helped.
Marcus.
He just kind of smiles and okay, I'll watch for you when you get back. Just bring.
There any horseshoes around or anything?
Not really. This stable, especially the Vesher stable, they deal almost exclusively in Yolkep.
Are there any Yolkep shoes or anything?
Yolkeps are
Like
padded
camel.
feet. Yeah, they're more like kangaroo camel feet. They're made for soft ground, so they don't really put horseshoes and like shoes on them. he just kind of smiles and he walks when he's rubbing the back of his head, and you can see like.
Standing like flowers.
Oh, he's barely paying attention at this point. You can see the tips of his ears are bright red. You know, as he disappears back into the stable itself.
Cannot hear. Cheer entertains us.
Paul, why'd you leave?
Which one?
Yes.
Yes. No, I imagine that would have gone down the same way anyway, so.
Oh, he would have made it worse.
Oh yeah.
Most definitely.
100%.
Do I still have our Yolkep? The one Talon had?
You didn't. So the only one who unloaded the Yolkep that they had was Darius.
So I could use mine.
You have a Yolkep.
Okay, I'll use mine. But
You paid for the week.
Cal paid for
Okay. He brings out a different employee brings out your Yolkep, places the saddle on the ground, and you still have 4 days. When you come back, we don't do refunds, so if you come back, we'll just keep it for another 4 days for you. And turns around and walks away, leaving you to saddle the Yolkep yourself.
I got dates with family fortitude.
This is a different guy.
Wow.
Marcus is at this point he seems to be like kind of hiding out
Flustered.
now. At this point, yeah, he's
Good job.
You can't whore out the cat person.
Yeah, apparently she can.
I can.
Is that why she always carries a cane everywhere?
You got that pimp.
She's not wearing purple though. She doesn't have a big floppy
Now I'm just
hat.
picturing Stewie dressed as a
Right?
pimp.
Yeah.
Stewie with tits.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
So
We've
thanks
seen
to
that.
Lord, she's gonna kneecap Fianne when she doesn't get that money.
That's good OJ.
Right? Okay. And I'll find him and
Well,
Am I there?
Well, you have to wait for him for probably 20, 25 minutes before he gets there.
Bacon, right?
That's good.
Your name is Bacon.
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 Bacon?
Bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, Bacon, could you please help me? I can't reach
Can't reach what?
settle onto it.
I'll grab her by the scruff of the neck and throw her up over the saddle.
Well, the saddle's on the floor.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
know.
So you
Throw
just
her on the-
put her on the Yolkep.
Just throw her over the back of the Yolkep.
Oh, I can write.
It's like
bareback?
picking up like a ferret by the scruff of the neck. It just stretches out, and then we look, it just goes
Alright,
limp.
I'll throw the saddle on.
It's fairly easy to do. This one seems like it's been ridden quite a bit. It's standard size Yolkep. It's not one of the bigger ones that you've seen, but it takes you a few minutes to get it strapped in, but you're able to do so. And what are the two of you doing?
Didn't you say Yolkeps were going to be provided?
I'll go ahead and talk to whoever's in charge.
Marcus.
No, Marcus is in charge.
He's a stable boy.
Yeah. Marcus himself is not in charge. Sorry.
The
Yeah,
owner's
that
not
is-
go on dates with random customers.
Are you gonna try to set Dakin up with a date too?
Sure.
We'll have some weird sitcom stuff going on here.
Yeah, right.
No, you know it's Grassus.
Grasses?
Yep, it's the half orc that you met when you first came in. When you ask for him, it takes a few minutes until you see this fairly stocky orc, kind of short for an orc, but almost as wide as he is tall. Very, very thick tree trunk-like arms. He kind of comes sauntering out. Seems as if he had suffered some kind of leg injury, as he has a very, very bad limp from his right leg.
He's a fucking square.
As he comes up and looks at you and, what?
Lady Marigold sent us.
Oh, you Dakin?
Yes, sir.
Alright, well, she said you and one of your fellows is a biggin, so she had a couple of these specially procured. Give me one moment, please. Marcus! Get your ass out here! You're here. Okay.
Oh my god.
And Marcus comes out and just very much avoiding eye contact from Cheer and Fianne, approaches Grassus and, bring 2 of the big ones out here for, I'm guessing you, and I'm guessing that tall son of a bitch over there.
Yes, sir.
All right, so bring 2 of those out, and how many more do you need?
I mean, just one more, right? One more.
All right, that,
Yeah, that one.
okay, for that shit. All right, bring another one just regular size, you'll be fine. Oh, okay. It takes about 30 minutes, for the other Yolkeps to come around. The 2 of them that you can easily tell are the ones that are going to be the ones helping you 2. They're pretty big. I mean, they're sizable creatures compared to what you guys are used to in Yolkeps. They're not quite large, but they're about as close to large as you can get without actually being a large creature. And with the strength of a typical Yolkep, these things look like they lift every day. Like
Just now even
like
hoist.
yeah, just now even hoist. These are jacked. The other one is one that you're used to. Size that you're used to. Though thankfully this time you have a saddle that's actually designed for them, so you don't suffer quite the same debilitating
ball
soreness.
busting?
Yes, the debilitating soreness that you had the last time.
It's the same.
I'd like my character to have
No.
both of his nuts.
Yes, he might want to breed at some point.
Yeah.
We'll see though. We'll see. See if he survives a few more sessions.
Wow.
After you guys collect your horses, the Yolkeps, Grassus walks back inside, and as you guys turn and start leading your Yolkeps out, you hear a whistle from behind you.
We'll look back.
You see Grassus is kind of hobbling his way back out of the Vesher stables, and he's got a fairly large rolled up piece of parchment in his hand, and he's raising it over his head.
I'll go ahead and grab it.
As you get close, he takes out a piece of parchment and hands it over to you. You're gonna need that.
Thank you, kindly.
Don't thank me, thank Miss Marigold. And he turns around and kind of walks back inside.
Draw it, color it in, just to
I'm gonna show it.
Yeah.
tear the shit out of it.
Yeah, like if people want to see it, we can go ahead and show them real quick. Do some of
Wish I'd known that
David's-
was coming. Let's see.
David's special work.
Hopefully it's water. There we go.
You don't need to know all the spoilers, Kyle.
There we go. Nice. Look
So
at that. Pretty ass
this
map.
this is the region right around Brownwater. Now this is not all of Tethys, as you guys can look at the map. It's literally just the area around Brownwater. Everything that's maybe about 5 days travel from Brownwater in any direction, like straight 5 days out, pretty much any direction that you guys can see. Well, between 5 and 8 days, depending on where you're going. But it's just the area around Brownwater itself.
Wait, where's-
Like you don't see Uruk above. You can't even see Rock Mountain below, and you can't even see Keeks Fall
Wait,
to
where
the west.
is? Excuse me. Where is Brownwater itself? Oh, dead center. Okay.
Dead center.
'Cause why not?
Dead center of Brownwater.
Well, we gotta piss away daylight. Are you gonna lead on, light lover?
Alright, let's go ahead and go.
All right. So now that people have gotten a little bit of a look, you can tell it looks like the map itself was probably wet yesterday. It seems to be a little older than what you would typically expect. It's definitely not completely up to date, but it's pretty close. But it does look like it has seen better days.
And that's where we're going. So, anyone here good at tracking? Just in case.
Absolutely fucking not.
Oh yeah.
-2.
Alright.
You read a map?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, 100%. You can read a map.
Alright.
And I'll pass it over to you.
Give her the map before she coughs up a hairball.
Does the cat know what the word map means? Okay.
She's not that unsurprised.
Yeah, her people are known for being the people who are cartographers. Like they make the maps. They're the travelers. A lot of her tribe of shifters would have gone out and done a lot of that. Same thing with furbolgs too. A lot of furbolgs travel.
Well, it's hard to tell whenever just titties are getting flashed around everywhere.
Well, I don't know about everywhere. I think it's more crotch flashing everywhere.
Yeah.
But hey, who doesn't want some full frontal, right?
We threw having fun at my expense.
Yes.
Not yet. Give it a minute.
Of course.
I got two more. Just quick, real quick.
Alright.
So heading out of town. To
Go ahead and roll me a survival check real quick. Because you can tell there at one point was probably a key on that map, and it is long since faded away.
I will assist.
What do you have?
Can I assist? I'll assist.
Are you trained in survival?
No,
No, okay. No.
That is a 14.
14?
I have a +3.
It's not a great map, but it's at least sufficient
This is
for what you need.
a blended map. Don't sell
thank-
yourself short.
Well, thank you. It was a finely made map that has just seen some better days. It looks like it was wet literally yesterday, if not the day before, with all the rains. It was probably sitting on a shelf that just got drenched.
Is it still damp?
It's still damp in your hands. And you can pull the rest of the water out and throw it on the ground with your control water cantrip.
That
Oh,
is,
it's a cantrip?
Yeah.
that
But
is-
it's very little amounts of water,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's a witch. Burn it.
With the map and knowing since you actually travel along the Shield Maidens March, you can use that as kind of a reference to give an idea of how long it's going to take. And you're looking from Brownwater to Kreol Ranch is a hard 2-day ride.
2 days then.
Depending on which route would you prefer to take. You could follow the road north, or you guys could try to cut cross country, but you don't know what that country kind of looks like yet.
Cut cross country.
Okay.
Yeah.
now, are we sure we want to cut cross country?
Yeah.
It's going to cost furriers over there a lot of money if I have to use my gun. Just saying.
Eh?
Do you think maybe we follow road?
How long would it take? Compare.
You may, if you go a straight shot, depending on what the terrain's like, you may be able to shave off a full half day if you take straight shot.
Faster through over hard road without road. Mm.
Are you on a time crunch with your thing?
Mm.
You're paying.
Alright, well, we'll go ahead and cut across the country.
Mm-hmm.
That was really
That was very, very ominous as the wind kicks up outside.
Dog it.
This happens a lot around here.
So it's just me, or does that stable boy think he's going to get some fur hole?
Huh?
Cheer fan.
Ain't that illegal in most provinces?
None, Jesus, that's me.
Illegal?
Cheer, what?
Nah.
Do you want to know if anything?
So if you cast a
Of
wicked
Marcus.
Oh, God.
Kind man.
Fanny enjoyed dates with Marcus then, yeah?
Morning, man.
Mm-hmm.
Listen on it.
Fanny, you do know what the date means, right?
Meeting ritual.
Whoa.
Forward.
Wow, that escalated quickly.
Cheer just meant dinner, but
That's an interesting first date.
That's a lot of pressure for a first date. That's a lot of pressure.
Note to self.
big one.
Figure out where Furball is from.
Stay away and never go.
I can tell.
Oh.
Okay.
Alright.
You guys can slowly begin riding the Yolkeps now.
Can you read?
You've pretty much all ridden the Yolkep at least once in your life. You're a little unaccustomed to them. Like, you're used to, in Southgate, many your size typically ride the Clydesdale Warhorse style. It's a lot different ride than it is on a Yolkep. A Yolkep, they kind of lope when they run. They're much lower to the ground in the front than the back. You're actually sitting higher up, and you keep your feet near its shoulders. So it's literally kind of a loping motion. Once you get the hang of it, you can actually move with the creature and help increase its speed so it doesn't slow it down. But it's much more physically intensive than riding a horse. Like riding a horse, you know, you get the thigh killing, you know, it just eats your legs apart. This is a whole body workout. This is your arms, your back, your legs. And by the time by the time you stop for the night, you're probably going to be feeling it.
Bullshit.
Now,
I have a 16 strength. That should be
the
good.
the rest of you, well, it's less about strength, more about endurance.
I got that.
I have a decent con.
Hey, con is more is some physical endurance, but it's more about like overall like bodily health too. If you're not used to it, it's still a taxing thing. So, as you all begin to make your way north, I would like each of you to go ahead and roll me a perception check, please. And you're actually you're doing a straight shot, right? So it's northeast.
No, more or less. Yes, no, well, we're going through that little sliver of mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to get on the far side of the large hills that are just to the north of Brownwater. You're trying to get east of those and then make your way a straight shot up to Kreol Ranch, avoiding the arroyos.
Yeah, we gotta avoid the arroyos.
Nine.
And then everybody just looks.
17.
11.
You guys can call them out.
Oh, 12.
15.
15.
Avoiding
Okay.
the-
As you guys move out, you guys know that Brownwater almost sits like in a basin. It's much lower than the area around it.
That's why it's flooded.
The hills, as you almost immediately head in the hills and look out to the west, you guys can see there are probably a couple dozen people that are slowly moving south along the Shield Maiden's March, making their way to Brownwater. As you get high enough up, you can still see at the front entrance of Brownwater, there are still the two deputies standing there. They're talking to what looks to be some kind of either merchant or miner with a cart full of some type of equipment. Hard to tell as it's a covered wagon, but they seem to be pointing off to the west, which is what you see, pointing away from Brownwater. So you have an idea that usually means sending them out to Vigor Ridge.
Is that on there?
That's on there. As you guys continue to head through the day, it's a humid day. Most of the cloud cover is gone. There's still a scattering of clouds in the sky. So every once in a while you might get a brief respite from the beating sun as it disappears behind some clouds. But for the most part, it is just a hot and sweaty day. As you all are traveling, is anyone doing anything of import?
Chain smoking.
That's not really important.
It is
I mean, it's
to me.
important to you, but
I'm encouraging my Yolkeps to do a good job.
okay.
I can speak to it, so.
What do you say?
Alright. It's like, you got it, buddy. You can do it.
Enjoying the ride.
But how hard are you guys pushing these things? Are you guys pushing them as hard as they can go, or are you guys just
Not
riding?
my Yolkep. Don't care if it's broke.
I think we don't
Speaks and comes. Fuck you.
We're gonna stop earlier.
Yeah, also we gotta make sure we can get back.
It'll last 4 days.
Let's not push too hard.
So are you guys moving regular speed, or are you guys
Okay,
doing quick time?
Quick time.
regular.
That's it very good.
I'd say regular as well.
Yolkeps
Then again, that's
stop.
mostly up to the Yolkeps.
When Yolkeps
Well,
stop, stop.
they will allow themselves to be pushed, but when they're done, they're done.
Hmm.
So you guys going at normal speed?
Darius prefer quick time so his nuts don't have to get beat up any more than they have to.
Well, it probably hurt worse because it's moving even faster.
Yeah,
So
but it'll be a shorter time.
true. It's a more intense pain now, but a shorter time.
Yeah.
So what's the consensus?
Fast,
This is
fast,
the-
slow,
Cheers.
slow.
Well, it's fast, fast, slow, slow, slow.
What do you think Bacon should decide?
Bacon.
Since
You are paying. I'm okay with slow now that I think about that.
We'll go slow.
I should
Not our
proceed
Yolkeps.
to sing a very bad song.
Go ahead and roll me a performance check real quick.
Oh,
As you're being jostled by
What's your
this
charisma?
loping creature.
16?
16. You remember pretty much all the words. You only have to mumble through a couple of them, but you sing a fairly dirty limerick as you guys are making your way across the plain here.
No. Just the chorus. Over and over.
It will take you guys the better part of a day before. Now, you're doing a straight cut, correct?
Yeah, straightest one can do, avoiding mountains and
So after about 2 hours, you guys clear the fairly sizable and rocky hills. You're now far enough east from those that you can begin to turn northeast to head straight towards Kreol Ranch. You guys travel for another few hours, and sun is beginning to set. You guys know at this point you got maybe 30 to 45 minutes before nightfall hits.
When did the Yolkeps stop? That's the question here.
Do we have enough time to set up camp, or should we stop now?
Can we just feed those crack grasshoppers or whatever, and then just like
If you have any.
Mm-hmm.
I just wondered.
Actually, I'll use some of that time to try and find a suitable camping spot, I suppose.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me another survival check, please.
That's a 22.
22. You actually managed to find a very, very good spot. Actually, where a bit of the hills are turning into little hillocks. You managed to find one with a pretty good vantage spot, so you can see anything coming from quite a ways away. At this point, the lights of Brownwater are completely now hidden by the hills themselves, so Brownwater has disappeared. It is a clear and open plain. You can no longer hear or see the Shield Maidens march. It is, for all intents and purposes, it is open country where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And with that survival check, you can actually find has a couple of rocky outcroppings that you could actually use to help facilitate your shelter for the night, where you want to set up your tents.
Right there.
Okay.
Making a beeline. And suddenly Fionn just kind of breaks off from the group.
Is there any, well, follow Fionn, but are there any like weird plants around the camp area?
Go ahead and roll me a perception check with disadvantage.
Is it dark? Also, probably
Never mind.
Oh.
Well, that doubled that
Natural
one.
20 and a 7.
7. That would be an 8.
An 8. It's
Or
getting
bugs.
kind of hard to tell what most of this area here is still kind of scrub land. Most of it still has short grass, but there's large patches where there is nothing. You know, if you continue to head further east, it just the scrubland portion of it just disappears, and it becomes just kind of like a rocky waste style. Pretty much almost like the Badlands of California type deal when you head east. Here you're still almost like Chihuahua Desert, but still more foliage here.
Just some shrubbery.
Yeah, more shrubberies and things like that. But I mean, you don't notice anything unusual. It's the typical vegetation that you guys would be used to.
Any bugs?
I mean, you can hear cicadas in the distance.
That must be
Start picking up enough firewood for a cook fire.
You can definitely find there's
Dry
some
grass.
yeah. I mean, some of these bushes have thick
Core
like
zones, like
zones
mesquite.
that, yeah, exactly. You can break off and you can burn, and it does smell spectacularly good. So,
Anyone got any?
though not good for smoking meat.
No.
Huh?
It's not good.
No, it's not good for smoking meat. No, it has a very nice fragrance to it, but it imparts a strange taste to meat.
Alright, so we gotta set up watch then, huh?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take first watch.
You guys do anything else while you're at camp? What do you all do for dinner?
I shall cook trail rations.
Okay.
I watch with
The
Leo.
fine style of army cooking.
So you throw some meat rations and some of the dried potatoes and other things that you have. Pour some water in it and just make a rudimentary stew.
What can I hunt down in an hour?
It's not rudimentary.
With your,
It's rations.
I'll still give you that 22 survival check that you had, so you can find a few things. You actually managed to find a small rosemary bush. So you can pull off some rosemary twigs and throw those in there. Impart some flavor to it, as the iron rations are not very tasty.
No,
I mean, they're,
don't mess with my recipe. This is good rations, Southgate style.
So you can save it for your own.
Rosemary?
Yeah.
I'll take rosemary.
Oh, she did not eat it. She didn't lose it.
For what?
Put it up with my stuff.
Okay.
My little kit.
Now,
You
why
guys-
did you stick a stick in your bag?
Should have reasons. Take a little bit of the wood too before it gets light on fire.
What are you stealing firewood for?
Reasons.
Okay,
Reasons be that's for dinner. Making rations.
Cheer have raisins.
Like what?
Cheer have raisins.
That was the weirdest way to say rations ever. Starting to get an idea what a Southgate accent sounds like.
Betty says shaman too.
Only if you're a large angry man from the mountains.
Oh my
Can I
god.
do an insight check just to see, like, what in the world is she doing? Or she's
Sure, with disadvantage.
Suck it. 22.
Wow, that was a good roll right there.
What would be a basic way that you could explain with through an emotion why you're doing it?
Curiosity. Basic. That is the most.
She definitely
basic.
seems very curious by it.
You're a curious little creature, aren't you?
You're a hairy big creature.
I am. Bacon.
Just say that. Just say bacon.
You say a lot of things weird, Cheer.
Cheer.
Yeah,
Cheer.
exactly.
What are you worried about? Them damn high mist cowards are weird.
Better than Southgate.
Why? Because you hide behind a wall?
Cheer
Ooh,
should
you
do
like
something
hiding
more.
behind that wall.
Cheer was in charge in war.
Of hiding?
No, other things I can't discuss. Cal, very important to Cheer. Cheer, more important to Cal.
See, this is what they said about hiding. It was important. They couldn't discuss it.
I just hear a couple of lackeys arguing about whichever's master was better. The point is, y'all still fought for somebody else. It didn't really get shit, but this fuck off pride. Don't ever fight in a war, it's retarded. Just like your argument.
What did you do during the war?
I didn't fight for no master. That's what I did.
Fought for yourself?
I didn't have to fight at all. The politics of big so-called brained men don't really bother me too much because I try to stay away from politicians and their lackeys.
The perfect dwarven idiots.
In Dwarven, I say, who are you talking about?
And you'll notice that the accent, it's clear to hear, understand her.
Perfect accent.
Perfect dwarven. Perfect.
No, Dwarven.
No,
Bigger.
I am not a dwarf. Taken.
Ah. It's all an act. But
Cheer hungry.
Do you share the rudimentary stew you made?
Just find military-style rations.
Don't you mean rations?
Cheer
Rations.
and rations to stew.
Plop.
It gives you. I mean, it's no worse than what you've had, you know.
Yeah, no, I'll take a little bit of rosemary.
You want me to spit in it for flavor?
No. Just speak
It's
in
good
peace.
flavor.
Yeah, here.
I'm not eating over there eating. I'm just smoking.
No food at all?
You've never experienced military
No, I have my
food.
own stuff, but I don't eat it in front of other people.
Okay.
You want some?
I'll take some.
Splat.
That worse.
It works. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think each of you has had worse at
Oh,
one
yeah.
point in your life.
Stir the pot a little after I serve it out. Flavor.
For yourself, man.
Somewhere a deity is going.
That's one of my children.
Oh my God, I made
I
that.
think it's time to burn it all down.
I think at this point the deity is Rockmere shivering in alternate.
Yeah, just burn it all down. Start from scratch. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Patron saint of cooking shivers in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Alright, who's taking second? Who's taking third watch?
I watch with Leowell.
What?
I watch with Leowell.
I think it means it watches with the moon.
Yep.
Now with at this point in time, you guys are still in spring, so it's still a pretty even split between about 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night. So you guys can decide whether or not how long you want your things to be. With how much time you spent setting up for food and things like that, probably about 2 hours passed during nightfall, so you have maybe 10 hours of darkness throughout the night.
Should think we leave early in the morning, so not this hot.
About what, 3 hours for the night? 3 shifts?
So 3-3-hour shifts,
Yeah. And then we'll
4 2-hour.
or you want to go 4 2-hour shifts?
Yeah.
All right, so Dakin's on first. Who's got second?
I don't know. It's on
it.
third.
I was gonna No, what? What's on
And who's on last?
Yeah.
Who's got last watch?
You really don't want me.
Yeah, it depends on when the moon's
modifiers to pull perception checks.
This is.
Now, quarterstack, you remember wake me up if there's a fight.
This is the month of Namos. Namos has the right eye of Leoel. It is,
No,
you
that's
have,
Snowflake.
At this point,
You're half a half stack. That makes you a
14 days.
quarterstack.
or 15 days before it's full.
Cheer.
No, I just asking when it's up.
Oh,
Up and visible.
probably
Not really cheer
right around like midnight.
That's what I thought.
Cheer short. That's worse.
Oh, it admits that it's a quarterstack. I like you, Cheer. Oh.
Gordon. Does it matter?
So who's taking last watch? Chair?
Yeah.
I shall put the fire out in my typical Kuth fashion.
Pee on it.
I'm like, no!
We
that
need the
smell is
fire.
horrendous.
We need the fire for warmth.
And keep
It's warm as hell. It's springtime.
No, it's pretty cold tonight.
Yeah.
And animals do that.
It scares off the wildlife.
Yeah.
Button the pants back off.
Does he pinch it off?
No, yeah, he's unbuttoning by the time you guys
Would that
talk
be a
about
strength
it.
test to
No,
pinch
no,
it
no,
off?
no, 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 no.
Is that please, we don't want to see that, please. Christian channel.
No, you've already moved past that point whenever you got crotch shots.
Okay.
That's okay, I'm taller.
Okay, so in perfect form.
Oh, does it matter how your name is in common?
Not really. But I do get particular from time to time.
Different accent too. You're a curious little fellow.
Not a fellow.
That we know of.
I'm sleep now.
Alright, I'll take first watch.
Fanny! I need to use you as pillow. Come here, Fanny.
No.
Fanny. Do that on dates.
So you acquiesce?
No.
Don't taunt the shit.
She goes to the other side of the fire and like does a couple laps and then lays down.
Just gonna.
She's more than fur, she's got
I'll find a
claws.
rock to put my back up against.
Plenty in this area. You guys, we're still near the hill, so there's plenty of sizable rocks in the area.
Right. I'll take first watch.
Okay, so the rest of you go to sleep.
Yep.
My hand on my gun.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
That's not bad. Yeah, that's an 11. That's a 14.
14.
Darius isn't a pervert, like apparently majority of this.
As you're sitting there, it's about maybe 10 o'clock at night by the time everybody beds down to go to sleep. As you're kind of sitting there, and what do you do during your watch?
Keep an eye and then also say my prayers in there.
Okay, so as you're saying your prayers, you're speaking to Sabbath, and you're going over the traditional prayers that they do. It's cut short as you hear what sounds like a cackling laugh in the distance, and then another one picks it up, and then another.
Would I know what this is, or like if it's an animal or
Roll me a
something?
nature check.
That's not bad. Let's see, nature, is that...
Intelligence.
Okay, so that's an 18.
18. You saw him before on the ride down with your compatriots. The creatures that they refer to as jackals. Now, There are jackals that are in Southgate and further up, and they're like typical smaller jackals. These jackals are the size of like Malamutes. Like they're pretty big dogs. They're pretty big animals. They have that strange kind of, not like a hyena laugh. It's almost like a cackling. They don't howl. Almost like a tiger's chuff, but much more high pitched. You can hear them speaking to each other, and you know that's how they communicate. And with that check, with the way the wind's blowing, they have to be quite a ways away. The wind's blowing at your camp, so they have to be miles off at this point.
I'll secure the Yolkeps.
No, the Yolkeps themselves appear to be sleeping. They sleep very much like if you imagine a very overweight man that just gorged on a box, like 24 donuts, and they're just sitting on the couch and sleeping. That's very much how they sleep. They literally balance on their back, their hind legs. They put their butts on the ground. They rest their heads on their chest, and they go to sleep. They look like comically old men when they sleep, pretty much. But the proportions look so weird, and they look, but they don't look buff like this. Like this, they just look like kind of like balls of fluff. Well, it's when you see them running and stuff is when you can tell how much power these creatures have, and why these creatures, with a kick, could probably kill one of you. You know, if you were unlucky. But they don't seem to stir from the sound. But you can check on them; they seem to be fine. The rest of your watch passes without any other incident.
Right. And then who's on second watch? It was better. Alright. As you wake up, it's like there's some jackals out. Just keep an eye out in front of them.
Really?
Yeah. They were a ways away when.
Was it your keen powers of observation that noticed the horrifying howling between you muttering to Sabbath the whole damn night?
Yes.
Fair enough. Dumbass.
You go to sleep.
I'll go to sleep.
So, what are you doing on your watch?
Sitting there whittling with my buoy.
Okay. Just pick up a piece of wood and just start chopping away at it?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
10.
10. Night passes. You don't really hear the jackals howling. Maybe they were moving further away, but you don't really hear anything. You can just hear. I mean, this is what you've preferred in your travels, is when you're out on the plains and the prairies like this. It's that almost dead quiet sound. I mean, off in the distance, in the hills themselves, is where those cicadas live. So I mean, just in the distance, you can hear that hum. And the howl of the wind a bit as it shakes bushes in the grass as it blows through. But that's all you hear, almost kind of lulling you to sleep during your shift. But nothing else of any kind of import happens.
I'll kick chair awake.
Fianna's next.
I'll kick Fianna awake.
It happens to kick Jared.
I kick chair, then I kick chair.
Yeah, no. Wake up!
Oh, whoops.
Shit, not your watch, my bad. Wake up!
You kick someone who's already waking up. Yeah. Watch.
You go to sleep.
Is your stuff
Yeah, I knew
where
the
you were
4 hours.
sleeping?
Okay.
What stuff? What do you want about?
Like
Make
the
sure the
poncho?
6 guns are
Were
loaded.
you still wearing it? Like all the time?
It was back where I was.
It's back where you sleep, so I use
The poncho?
poncho
Okay.
and my backpack.
I can't.
So you get up, you bend down to try to grab it, and she just kind of
Grab the flute and gently.
You're getting what I was saying.
Grab the
everybody
flute.
awake. It's
Gently.
4 in the morning.
Gently.
Very much like a
I'm all
cat.
facing the moon.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
I'm trying to sleep.
That is, it's kind of shit. 13.
13.
Oh shit.
Okay. As you're sitting there, and you're absent-mindedly, gently blowing into the flute, trying to recreate the sound of that song that guy was playing. He called the song "If I Had a Chicken," and that's stuck in your head a bit. And you're trying to run through the flute, the pan flute, as much as you can. As you're sitting there, probably about maybe 30 or so steps away from the rest of the group, so you don't wake anybody up with your sounds. You happen to look up into the sky, and just as you do, the clouds that are covering the moon break, revealing the right eye of Leowell is half open. And as you stare up at it, you have that same strange, disquieting feeling that you had before in Brownwater, when you truly focused on the area around it. That same strong smell of water, but almost like tepid or fetid water. Not quite foul, but definitely has an odor to it. Just as quickly as that sense hits you, it slowly fades away. From the distance you hear a howl, or that cackling howl of the jackals. That must be miles away at this point with the wind. The rest of your watch passes without any incident.
Who was next?
Cheer.
She gets woken up by Poncho.
Wake her up by pulling the poncho out.
Don't you know what's bacon?
And then he responds.
It's like, it's
Bacon.
Good chair. What are you doing during your walk?
Get out my alchemy set. Start messing around with things idly as I walk around.
You're not able to open up the whole thing, but you can take a few things out and start messing with it a bit. Go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Does she
please.
blow up?
We'll see. You're right next to Darius as you're doing it.
6.
6. You're fairly distracted by what you're doing, and you get so engrossed into what you're doing with your set that it's the first crack of light over the horizon shines in your eyes, which is what kind of pulls you out of that stupor that you were in as you were just focusing on your work. The day is dawning, or the first lights of dawn are beginning to filter in. The full dawn will probably happen in about 2 hours at this point. You can hear your compatriots are slowly beginning to rise.
Keep it living.
Dakin, as you wake up and kind of turn over, you hear something thud to the ground next to you.
I look over.
There's a stick, fairly sizable stick that looks like the flesh of it, the bark of it has been sheared off through most of it. It just has bark at the ends of it at this point.
Is there anything unusual about this thing?
Pick it up and examine it.
Yeah.
There's a fairly crude symbol of Sabbath that has been carved into it.
I break it.
You break it?
Oh. Yeah.
You break the symbol itself, or
Wait,
you break the...
so is that like crude? Are we crude? Like, is it not good, or what do you mean crude?
You can tell it's the symbol of Sabbath.
Oh,
I mean,
so
it just...
okay.
It's not...
It's poorly made.
Oh,
It's
poorly
not
made.
professionally
Okay.
done.
Oh my God.
Probably quickly made.
All right, quickly. Yeah, okay, I'll take it with me.
Okay. I mean, the stick is about 4 feet long. Like, the stick is about 4 feet long and about that thick. So taking the whole, I mean, you can take the whole thing. It's almost like, I mean, it wouldn't be a great club because this wood's a little too soft for that. I mean, but you could stick it in your backpack and take it with you. Okay. The morning is yours. You all can break apart your camp, begin rolling up your food, your camp up. Do you guys have cold breakfast, or you guys cook anything again?
I'm gonna eat on the Yolkep
Okay.
after I put the fire out.
Okay. Once everyone starts walking away, you all hear the telltale sign of water hitting
Fire.
fire. Yeah, liquid hitting fire.
And the smell of ammonia steam.
Well, thankfully the wind is still coming at you guys where you guys are headed. So thankfully that smell doesn't quite hit you as hard as it could.
Been holding that since last night.
Wow, that's not good for the kidneys. You all can mount up again. Your Yolkeps are like typical horses. You do need to, and especially the saddles themselves, prevent them from being able to rest, as the saddles are weighted to keep them on all fours, so that way they don't buck up and knock people off of them. So you guys can resaddle your Yolkeps, climb back upon them, and continue to make your way to the northeast. Well, at this point, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. This one's going to be real fast. We're going to take a quick break so we can use the bathrooms, get up, stretch our legs, and we'll be right back to it. So we'll be quick break, and we'll be right back, all right? Stick with us.
Campfire break.
jump right back into it. The group has went ahead and torn down their camp for the night, has gotten back on their Yolkeps, and you guys are now continuing your journey heading towards Kreol Ranch. So as you all are traveling through the day, I would like another set of perception checks from you guys, please.
16.
19.
That is cocked. Well, mine was a 19, so it's 22.
17.
10.
Okay.
That's
Most of
not
you
a
guys
fun
are
precipice.
pretty observant today. You guys are watching, and the reason you guys are watching as you begin to head north is this just before midday, as your stomachs are beginning to tell you that it's getting time for some lunch, maybe some rations, even if it's just on Yolkep back again. When with the wind that is coming in from the east begins to pick up just a little bit harder, and you see the first blue, what they refer to as blue dancer, floating upon the air currents, making its way closer to you all, and then passing you, and then another, and then another, and then dozens more begin to fill the sky, almost like tufts of dandelions as they begin to float by. Okay, go ahead and roll me an acrobatics check.
That is going to be a 17.
17? You know that these are referred to as violet dancers. This is a flower with a central blue pod, and when it blooms, the central pod detaches in the wind and dances in air currents, spreading its seeds in a very beautiful display. The flowers, once the central pod has been released, the white flowers themselves do not survive long, but while they are still in bloom, and for a couple days afterwards, they do make a delicious tasting tea.
How many kilograms?
Well, you're just holding on to the pod itself. The violet dancers, the actual flowers themselves, are probably east of you all, where you all currently are.
Where are we heading? Are we heading
No.
east?
Yes, northeast.
Northeast?
I want to go where flowers are.
Oh, we're going to the ranch.
Later?
Are flowers at the ranch?
Oh,
Maybe?
maybe. They're in the general direction.
Okay. Can I grab another one or just one?
You can grab a couple. I mean, they're not super hard to grab, but it is. It very much almost looks like a tiny figure dancing in the sky as they filter about, spreading the seeds their seeds as they go.
You're spreading their seed.
They are.
That's what
indeed.
flowers do.
Yes.
That's literally what
They are just
Pollination.
pollinating all over your face.
Just your face.
I'm just waiting for you to say roll dexterity save because the trap is triggered.
No.
from the flower.
It's a constitution save to not sneeze.
Congratulations, you have hay fever.
You
And
can
the law
grab a
works,
handful,
you're not
so
dead.
3 or 4 of the pods themselves. Sure.
Pod people.
Surprised David hasn't tried to do Oregon Trail shit to us. Like,
Please
Oh, you all have.
We would all be dead
You all have
if
dysentery.
after eating Gunner's food, you all died of dysentery.
Oh, yeah, you all done
He's
fucked up now.
eucalyptus.
You fucked up now. You done fucked up now.
Somehow.
It's for flavor.
Dysentery adds flavor.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from that.
Cure us all.
We have lingered on this way too long.
You guys can continue to move north. This display lasts for a couple of hours. I would like you to go ahead and roll me a nature check.
That's a 6.
6?
I'm
Okay.
Marina with laying on hands.
It's beautiful. It's a very, very beautiful display.
I'm enjoying
Most of the clouds in the sky are slowly moved away. Humidity's not nearly as bad as it was the previous day, but it's about 7 or 8 degrees hotter.
Damn flowers.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
You've got several.
Well, let's keep on going, and we'll see more on the way.
You guys are heading more in a north-northeast direction at this point. Continue your way to Kreol Ranch. A few hours later, as you're starting to, the sun is starting to hit the back end of the horizon, getting ready to make its final descent below the horizon. You guys can see off in the distance, as the heat is starting to steam up a bit. You can see in the distance heat waves that are dancing over what appears to be a fairly large canyon that is probably at this point 2 or 3 miles to your right.
The grand?
No, not that big.
Not that big.
Is it at least huge?
Go ahead and roll me another survival check.
Yeah. That is a 12.
12. You know
So
that
canyon
with
awesome.
with that, you guys are at this point are probably about right here, seeing the cavern. So you guys have traveled quite a ways. The terrain is slightly harder to move around in, and you guys lost quite a bit of travel. You guys were only able to walk about 6 hours yesterday, so you guys weren't able to travel a full day. So that kind of hurt your guys' progress. Being able, with that roll, you know at this point, at your current speed, you won't reach Kreol Ranch until probably 10 tomorrow morning.
Right.
Okay. As you all continue on, it's a fairly boring ride up north. There's not. I mean, you guys can still hear the cicadas off now, and it's getting further and further away, off in the distance. The terrain hasn't changed much. Besides, now it's less rocky. It's more flat. There's quite a bit more of the scrub grass that tends to cling to your. You all were walking, it would suck because it tends to grab a hold of your boots and cling to them, and they will gather in clumps on your feet. It's how they spread their own seeds, attaching themselves to passing animals or people and getting, spread out throughout the desert. But the Yolkeps, it doesn't stick to their fur. It just slides right off their fur, as they're bred for this area. They just kind of step right over the things. So you guys are making much better time than if you guys tried to walk here, just for the fact of it is a hard terrain to walk through. You guys will and while you all are traveling, is there anything else happening, or are you guys traveling just in relative silence?
I'm singing my song.
Okay.
Just the first verse.
Will I know this song? Being a mermaid?
Go ahead and roll me a history check.
History. Intelligence plus your body.
That is going to be 22.
Yeah, you've heard it.
I bust out with the flute.
I
And I
should
attempt
sing
to
with
play
you.
with the bumps.
Sing the whole
As I know where the
Yes.
breaths are coming.
It sounds very broken. It's in very cheer style. But
Okay.
I will sing it along with you. But I will actually sing the whole song.
So as you continue the song, he just goes back and sings the verse over and over again.
You've got
And I
someone
just try-
singing dedicated chorus.
And
Do
Darius
you only
just,
know the first verse?
smokes cigarettes and tries
No,
to
I
tune
sang
out
the chorus
world
the
that's
day
getting on his
before.
nerves.
And I will be
Stick the
also
cigarettes in
fiddling
your
with
ear.
vials while I'm doing
Yeah,
it.
just sticking the cigarette butts in my ears, just like.
That's actually good.
You probably wouldn't risk messing with your alchemy set at how expensive it is while you're on the back of this thing.
Yes, I'm good enough.
Because losing one of those vials, that's like, oh, that's 2 notes gone.
Yeah, that's
Then
true.
another one, oh, that's 2 notes gone.
And I'm not getting it back.
Yeah.
This trip is expensive.
So nothing else is happening as you guys are traveling?
Look around in the area.
I mean, it's just what I've described. Every once in a while, you might see the movement of brush of probably a coney moving through or small hair moving through. Too quick to be able to actually get a shot off at. I mean, it's just blink and you'll miss it type deal with your guys' current perception checks.
Gonna reach down and nab it by the ears.
Yeah.
Snap.
Good God. So
You killed
brutal.
bugs.
So brutal, man. Come on, keep it to the goblins and the orcs and stuff. All right.
Yeah, you can slay those goblins.
Ow.
Can't kill the
Goblins!
You can't kill and eat the cute little, well, the not so cute little jack.
Well, I was about to. Don't eat jackrabbits. That's advice from David to you: don't eat jackrabbits.
Hey, we don't
They are
discriminate
terrible
against
eating.
orcs here.
Gamey as hell.
Also,
No, swimming with parasites and worms.
Mm,
First time I
better
ever
time.
skinned a jackrabbit, I had nightmares for weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, true story. Just trying to, kind of playfully kind of messing with each other with the singing and stuff and moving about. Just relative silence that you guys move in.
can I join in with thaumaturgy just to make it loud?
You can make it very loud.
Yeah, turn it up to
it's for
11.
the 300 feet, The thaumaturgy spell extends your voice for 300 feet, but then your voice carries normally after that. So anyone who's not role playing, to everyone else, you are booming. To anybody that's real far away, it's probably just a normal sounding voice. But as you all make it to nightfall again, you can see the sun sinking below the horizon, and you're probably about 4 to 6 hours of travel away from Kreol Ranch at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Almost there.
Yeah. Find another camp spot.
Want me to do the survival check, please?
Not as good as the last one, 12.
Well, you still, at this point, you just kind of find a spot that looks like it doesn't have too many of the heat cracks in the ground, where it's, that earth tends to settle in and sink in, and isn't very good for, trying to set up a camp. But you managed to find yourself a camp. There's not nearly as much wood around this area as that you guys managed to find last time, so the fire that you guys are able to make is paltry at best, and it will take constant maintenance to try to keep it up through the night.
Same watch order.
Okay. Nothing else happening before you all get to bed and start watching?
You want flavor this time?
No.
No.
Yeah. But what?
Want tea? Do you even have tea?
Well, the pods aren't good for tea. It's just the petals of the flowers are good for tea.
I got tea.
No. We have tea?
Yeah.
Or unmade tea?
Yeah.
Is that gunner speak for piss?
No.
Probably tobacco spit.
Eh.
Well, I guess technically it comes from a leaf.
Yep. Probably tastes terrible.
Then you should
Nah.
try.
I don't know, Cal probably knows the taste better because it kind of splattered probably off his chest when he got spit on.
No, he doesn't. But he didn't lick his shirt. Like, that's just weird.
No, but that is a big man spitting. There's probably going to be backsplash.
I get the distinct impression that tea made from tobacco might taste better as vomit.
He probably would. Probably would.
Shrug, go back to making dinner.
Wouldn't Darius know about if anyone would have tried tobacco tea, it would have been Darius.
No,
Just smoke it.
Just smoke it.
yeah, I'm a man of culture. I don't fucking chew fucking tobacco. I fucking smoke it.
I don't think he knows what culture is.
He does not.
So nothing else happening through the night?
Hmm.
Let me go ahead and start with Dakin. Get a perception check, please.
Oh, so close.
He ain't seen shit.
No. It did this.
So
okay,
what? So
okay.
Yeah,
I was
roll
like,
from higher to lower as it
That's
usually
a
does.
5.
a 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So
It
you,
was like
you
this. It was
keep
like
from
toward
nodding
me.
off. Yeah, you keep from nodding off during the night, but I mean you're tired. I mean you haven't. Spending a couple of days in town was great, but you didn't really recover from your last trip, and this just couple of days out on the road again, it's just kind of wearing you down, and you're nodding off through most of your shift.
Not trees.
But you're able to stay awake a little long enough to wake up Gunner for his shift.
Giant, your turn.
Fine.
Go ahead and give me a perception check, please.
18.
18? Okay. As you're watching, you notice, as you look to the east, in the direction of where that fairly large canyon is, it's a fairly large canyon, and it's got almost like veins of arroyos that kind of bleed into it.
Yeah.
But the for some reason, just on the horizon where that canyon is, there's almost like a soft bit of light that seems to emanate from the canyon itself, and it's almost the entire horizon in that direction of where the canyon is.
The whole thing's lit up.
Probably not the whole thing, but I mean it's a sizable area. I mean, as you're looking, it's probably, if you're looking, from your perspective, it's probably about that much of that just real faint light on the horizon.
Nope, don't give a shit. Just watch the light to make sure nothing comes up.
Okay. Nothing else happens for the rest of your shift. You're able to wake Fian without any other issues.
Kick Cheer awake.
Okay.
Wake up! It's your shit. Sorry, quarterstack.
Grab the poncho.
Fian's already up.
Go kick Fian. Wake up!
So as you're climbing to your feet, he kicks your foot.
His foot's like the size of her, so it's just like
Yeah, I know,
Cheer
right?
hitting a cheer.
Go ahead
What
and
size
roll
is your
a
shoe,
perception
Cheer?
check, please.
It's one cheer size.
You could probably
A cheer and a half.
Right? That's an 11.
11. Do you tell him about what you saw?
Yeah.
He points out that excuse me, her. Didn't mean to misgender. Please don't call
No, he
Twitter
points
bother,
out.
please.
He points out.
Yeah. No. But Gunner points out to you on the horizon, almost at this point, almost due east, maybe a little bit of east and with a little bit of south mixed in. That it's like a faint light on the horizon, almost like if you see a city light, in the middle of the night from far away. Just that faint bit of light, that little bit of a glow.
But then my looks will favor it.
Okay. You don't really notice anything else. You get the distinct impression of you don't really hear any other wildlife sounds. It's just that bit of wind. It's not as bad as it was during the day yesterday. It's just a bit of wind, but it's kind of changed direction. Instead of coming from the like easterly direction, it's more like a southeasterly direction. But nothing else happens throughout your shift.
Wake up, Cheer.
Okay. So, Cheer, go ahead and make a perception check, please.
I'm wrapped in Fian's poncho. What?
Then guess how she's getting woken up.
So he rips the poncho, or she rips the poncho off of you again. You kind of like roll out of it, like because you're burrito style.
Yeah.
Do you want that fish?
Yeah?
Oh, we're still here. Okay.
Right.
Anything interesting?
Lights.
Little wall
Point in the direction of the canyon.
6. She points it out to you, and after a while, you just kind of nod, and she goes to sleep. And for life, you don't know what the hell she's talking about. I mean, even with her pointing out at you, you don't really notice anything until about an hour into your shift, and your eyes are beginning to adjust better, and you can tell that, yeah, there's like a faint glow there, but you get kind of enamored with that, and everything else kind of falls away until, like yesterday, it's that softening of the eastern horizon that kind of pulls you out of your trance, and that the quiet groans of your compatriots slowly beginning to stir and wake up. So the night passes without any real anything happening. You all can collect up your gear. Does anybody do anything before you all hop on your Yolkeps and continue?
Nothing in particular.
How far are we?
6 hours?
Probably between 4 and 6 hours at this point.
Is
No,
that
fine.
light in the direction of the ranch, or? to
No,
the
the ranch is at this point, the ranch is almost due northeast from where you are right now, and this was east and south from you. So almost like directly in the direction of where the fairly large canyon is. It's not a Grand Canyon, but it is a natural cavern or canyon in the area. Though you all have heard nothing about it and you haven't seen it up close, but you can just see in the distance that is a fairly large depression in the earth.
We're not going to investigate the lights in the canyon.
What lights?
There was lights in the canyon.
Oh, I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
That's because you're blind.
No?
Been staring into the light too much. Ruined your night vision.
See, that's the problem. I couldn't see the lights.
Can we place in
wrestlers.
Cattle wrestlers.
That'd
be a pretty big boy to wrestle with a
I just
cow.
got an image of the Undertaker like suplexing
Yeah,
a cow.
Fucking people's elbow off like the fucking Vince on
Elbow drop. I have
No, it's the boulder. Because we can't see.
Okay.
But yes.
Rustlers, yeah, essentially they steal the Yolkeps.
So we're not where light is. In Kenya.
Maybe. Oh, I said we just go to the ranch first, see what they can tell us.
Jeff thinks we go to light, but okay.
Let's get to some form of civilization before I fucking shoot this thing. He just looks over at Yolkep.
It just
You
kind of
have to
looks back
walk
at you as it's like chewing on some scrub grass, and you can almost see the contempt in its eyes. It just,
They don't like each other.
Look at that. True love at first smell.
and you just see it.
Spit in the exact same manner as the Yolkep and hop on another one.
It's where you learned it, right? I learned that as well.
Learning that animosity real quick.
Anything else happen for you guys to collect up and continue your journey? Now, you all can see Kreol Ranch long before you get to it. Now, Kreol Ranch actually sits on a pretty sizable rise that you all can see, and it has probably one of the largest fences encircling its land that you all have ever seen. I mean, it's probably about 3 miles of fencing around this place. I mean, it is huge. The ranch itself appears to be a fairly sizable building, though it's not made opulently. You all have seen each of the 3 families' estates within Brownwater, even from a distance. They look like they are well kept. They've put a lot of money and effort into the architecture. They are striking buildings. This one is strictly a functional place. This does not look like where you would find a rich rancher. This looks more like a working ranch. It sits, you all can see that just beyond it, there is a fairly sizable grove of trees that extends as far as your eyes can make it out. And it sits about a quarter mile just to the north of the edge of that canyon.
Oh, look. Trees. We've discovered trees.
Well, let's head towards it.
You don't want to go to the ranch?
Oh yeah, no, to the ranch.
You sure?
I'm pretty sure. Let's go to the ranch.
Not the trees.
Yes.
So chill, fall asleep. Conversation so boring. Let's go.
As you all continue on, you get about half a mile away from the main house of the ranch, when each of you, even with your passive perceptions, you can see there is a figure that is outside of the ranch, outside of the fence itself, appears to be riding on the back of a Yolkep. And as it begins to approach each of your all's group, you can see they have a latch gun that they are holding up to the side as they are kind of effortlessly guiding this Yolkep over in your all's direction. As it slowly gets closer, you can make out what appears to be a fairly sunburned, like sun-worn human man. He's got a worn hat upon his head. He's wearing what was probably once a white shirt, but is now stained, probably tan. Quite a few different dirt stains all over it. Leather breeches. The Yolkep is a striking gray, like almost like a charcoal gray, with patches of white all over it. Looks to be very, very strong animal as it moves effortlessly, and the saddle that he's using is different from the saddles that you're using. Doesn't appear to be the same. It only has room for one of his legs to be up, and he almost has his other leg swung down and under himself, almost so he can lift himself up off of it to get a clear shot while still riding on it. It's fairly odd, as you all haven't seen anything like that. Most people do not attempt to fire from the back of a Yolkep. Once he gets close enough, he gets probably 25, 30 feet away from you all before he brings himself up to a stop and still kind of looks you all over once and, what brings y'all out to Kreol Ranch?
Lady Marigold sent us.
Lady Marigold?
Yeah, Marigold Kreol.
And who are you?
Dakin.
Dakin.
Bacon.
Dakin.
Steak and bacon. Okay.
No, it's not bacon. Well, we came from Brownwater.
And what can I do you for?
She said you guys were having trouble missing some of your Yolkeps, people stealing them. Ask if we can help.
Kind of leans forward and looks. I see what she meant. Come on, follow me. And he turns around and slowly begins making his way. Like, he's riding away from you, but he's running slow enough that you guys can pretty easily catch up.
Let's catch up. Let's make the tomato ketchup.
Oh,
Get out. Dakin suddenly has a heart attack. We're gonna move on with you four.
You forget every character's gonna do that.
So you guys can easily catch up to him as he's kind of. Once you guys catch up, he kind of quickens his pace into like a soft trot for the Yolkep, heading towards the ranch proper, as it were. Just the 5 of you.
At the moment, yes.
All right. Well, we got a missive from Lady Marigold talking about some specialists coming up to give us a hand. So you all look like it's still fairly early in the morning. Lunch ain't gonna be served for a couple hours. So if you all want me to take you out to where we found damage to the fence, and maybe you can start your investigation there. How about that?
That sounds like a great idea.
All right. And he does not speak at this point unless somebody speaks to him.
What's your name, by the way?
My name is Tiik.
Tiik? What's that?
Tiiek. I'm one of about 24 different ranch hands that call Kreol Ranch his home. Been with the Kreols for better part of 20 years.
Good on what?
Yeah, it's work. Keeps food on the table.
Good honest work.
At that.
Says you.
Huh?
He doesn't respond to that.
No, just at the good honest work part.
Yeah. No, he doesn't respond to that.
I wasn't expecting him to.
You know the lights from the canyon?
He kind of looks back at you, then like almost does a double take, looks you up and down real quick, and you mean the glow? Yeah, I heard about it. There's some people say a few things about it, but I ain't never been down there to see it.
What they say?
We got these supposedly flying glow bugs down in there that like to collect up during the night. Apparently they don't like sunlight, but they like the moonlight, and apparently some say that their backs glow or something. I don't know. I don't really get too far away from the ranch too often. I don't come up the way you folk came. We're leaving. We go past Loch Mora to the Shield Maiden's March and head our way south to Brownwater. We don't really go that way.
How long has this been happening? People coming in?
You mean rustling?
Yeah.
Hasn't happened in quite a long time. Not too many people dumb enough to come around and try to mess with, the Creols. It's not one of the smartest things that a man can do to get the Creols on his bad side, As he continues to, at this point, you guys are riding on the outside of this fairly large fence, heading due east at this point along Kreol Ranch. As you guys look inside, you can see it's not just one gigantic corral. There are several other buildings, probably a dozen different buildings that are inside this place that are scattered about. You can see farm hands, ranch hands that are taking some Yolkeps. Some that looks like Yolkeps are being broken for riding purposes. Other ones are being trained how to be more pack animals, more beasts of burden, moving wagons and such things. As Yolkep, they're almost like they're born old dogs. They'll learn one or two tricks, and that's pretty much it. And they're really good at those one or two tricks, but they have trouble multitasking too much. Then if you were trying to hook like a wagon in one of your Yolkeps, you'd kind of just sit there going like, what do I do? I got this isn't me. You know, I don't like this. So you can see that they're used for various different purposes. I'd actually like each of you to go and roll me a perception check real quick.
Right.
24.
Turn your 20 into. Oh, that is a
suck.
22.
We all suck at that one.
7.
7.
4. So you guys are basically mainly paying attention to Tiak as he's speaking to you guys. You two are paying more attention to what's happening out there. He wasn't really very specific with what happened. He didn't really give you guys too much information, just some rustling happening. But, I mean, there has to be a couple hundred Yolkep in this ranch. I mean, at least. That are constantly being bred, that are constantly being broken, that are constantly being trained. You know, I mean, there are tons. Once you guys get past what looks to be about 4 or 5 acres of land that's strictly used for the condition of these animals and care of these animals, you get into a very large open area corral that has probably about 24 of these animals that are just milling about. You can see they're taking their time. This area seems to have that scrub grass in abundance. It has to be somehow man-made. Like, man has to have facilitated this growth, because that scrub grass usually grows in patches. It doesn't really clump together too much. This has to have been seeded by people, and probably is continuously seeded to keep feeding grounds for the Yolkep. But as you get further and further away, you can see, you two will see before, as he's speaking with them, that it looks like a sizable, like in between each post is about 8 feet. Where they have wood running across, and this wood goes up high. I mean, even as you're sitting on the back of the Yolkep, wood's about at your head level. I mean, it's about right there, about 8 feet tall. Because these Yolkeps can jump, so if they don't have it pretty high, they're gonna get out. You guys can see off in the distance what looks to be 2 full sections of this fence that look, they've been patched. They've had other detritus and a couple of wagons that have been piled up to try to block them off. But the original fence at some point was destroyed. I mean, you don't really see any of it left at this point. And they've done what they can to plug that leak.
My powers of deduction say that that's where they went at. Why don't you go see if you can find some tracks?
Did they get all the Yolkep from this area?
He turns back as he's speaking to him. Oh, sorry. What was that?
They get all the Yolkep from here?
Oh
From there?
They got about a dozen, maybe even a baker's dozen. I think it's a baker's dozen of these things. Managed to get away with them, but yeah, about 13 of them.
Where are the rest?
Well, they weren't in the corral at that time. It looks like they specifically targeted a group of them. The others, I mean, they were resting up. They got them in at night. We didn't really hear it happening. We didn't find out until morning. We had to rustle up a few that we had allowed to get in the corral before we realized that back half of it had been blown to shit.
I'll go ahead and start riding for the hole.
Okay. It takes you about 5 minutes of riding for you to get up to it. He continues on his way. If you guys have any other questions for him.
And it's just from this section they stole?
Yeah, this is all they hit. Said this is the first time we've been hit. We got 24, men here. We're not soldiers, but we got some ex-soldiers. We got a couple of marksmen, that'll take some shots at people if they get too close. But I mean, it's the damnedest thing. I mean, you can see it. It's almost like they blew the damn thing to hell, but we didn't hear a word of it. You understand what I'm saying? So we're not entirely sure how it happened. I mean, it don't make no sense, because they destroyed the fence, and if they destroyed it the way it looks, then it would have had to be some kind of explosion. We would have heard it, and it would have scared any Yolkep that was in the pen. That we would have ran the opposite direction. Wouldn't have ran toward it. It don't make no sense. So it's we've been kind of at a loss about what to do about it. I mean, we sent a couple of teams out to see if we could find where they went. Looking as best we can over the ridge down south in the canyon. We didn't really see nothing. We checked the trees to the east because that's a good place to hide them. Those maples grow pretty close together, so it'd be a pretty good place. But we looked over there. We didn't find much. So, and damnedest thing, with the rains we got, it was perfect. Just pretty much washed away any tracks that we would have been able to find. It was bad luck or good planning.
Any disgruntled hands?
Oh, the Kreol. In this area, if you're not working for one of the families, then you're probably disgruntled. But none of my men that I know that'd be dumb enough. To be perfectly honest, we all know what would happen if one of us tried a stunt like this. It wouldn't be. We wouldn't be walking around like regular folk, if you understand my meaning. Kreol are nice folk, and until you cross them, and then they be about the bitterest enemy you ever have. So you better not to get on their bad side.
Anyone else might want to take?
If you're in Texas hunting other families, look, I don't ask those questions. You all are here to ask those questions and figure it out. I just run the place, all right. And I was just told by Lady Marigold to answer whatever questions of you that I could.
How many days ago was this?
This was day before the storm, so at this point about 4 days now.
4 days. Any other groups around this area that maybe have a quarrel with Kreols?
None that we saw. We don't really get any traffic in this area. The Kreols chose this place for the ranch because we got a good look at the surrounding area, so we can see anybody coming. Not too much in the way of cover. If a Yolkep gets out and tries to make a run for it, we can pretty much see them anywhere they go. Can't head south because of the canyon. Head east. The Yolkep don't like the smell of that maple wood, so they tend to stay away from that area a bit. But it's a strange one. I gotta say, I've been here 20 years, and maybe 2 times we've been rustled, but not this many, and not with this price. You understand?
Were these special Yolkep?
Oh well. Miss Marigold informed me that if you had any questions like that, you should direct them to her. Okay. Go ahead and roll me a investigation, please.
Investigation?
Yes.
That's gonna be a failure. It's a 13.
13? As you get close, you can see, this hole's basically been patched. As well as they could. It's about 15 feet worth of fence that's been jacked up, that's been destroyed. As you get close, you can see that, there are shards of wood that look like there was an explosion from the opposite side that blew it into the corral itself. And you can find slivers of wood from the fence to about 30 feet away.
I'm looking for tracks.
With the rains that were here, you don't see much besides what look to be regular Yolkep tracks that have been around this area, kind of investigating the new-looking fence to see if it's a place that they can get out. But you don't find anything else out of the ordinary.
What's nearby? Animal-wise.
At this point, the Yolkep are being corralled a bit away from y'all, so y'all can take a look up
Wild
here.
animal-wise.
Oh, wild animal-wise. Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
God, I was rolling for a 19, too. That's alright. 14.
14? Yolkeps are pretty mean creatures. Any kind of rodents or anything that would get in their pen, they'd probably just crush to death.
On the other side.
The other side, you can see there's a few prairie dog holes that are probably 15, 20 feet away from there, from the fence itself.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a whole lot of brush or foliage on the outside. It looks like it's been pretty much cleared through, for sightline purposes, so they can see anybody coming. Not a whole lot of wildlife that gets too close to Kreol Ranch. But you can see that forest that's off to the east. There are dark shadows under the boughs of that forest.
Well, I'm worried about the ones that are closer, so I'll go talk, see if I can arouse some prairie dogs.
Okay. So you start heading to the holes. So as you approach, go ahead and roll me an investigation check, please.
Prairie dogs
Your soul.
eat. Yeah, but what do they
Hairy little
eat?
These are fantasy prairie dogs.
Probably reach up
This
and
is a 1.
suck my blood.
So you dismount your Yolkep. You look over as you see Fian is walking in your direction, and as you take a step forward, your foot sinks up almost to your knee. You see Cheer climb down off of her Yolkep, take a step, and stick her right foot right into one of those prairie dog holes.
I'll start looking around for tracks.
Well, if someone is home, then...
If they have a rodent problem, they should just call Keith. The rodent gone.
Okay.
Slowly, carefully making your way over to the fence,
Okay.
away from the prairie.
Your foot's kind of hurting, and it kind of distracts you a bit as you finally make your way up to the fence. Go ahead and roll me a perception check, please. And what are you two doing?
Dismounting, like stretching my legs and shit.
Make me feel bad.
You guys will see Tiak. He just stays on the Yolkep back. He still has his latch gun, kind of resting, on his thigh as he's just kind of looking around. What do you do?
What's in your settlement from here?
Brown water.
Brown water?
Yes, sir.
Nothing smaller? Town, maybe hamlets or...
Oh, I mean, if you're looking for a small town, I mean, you got Hamanu, but that's further west. I mean, you may as well hit Brownwater at that point. You could hit Khan, but again, that's at that point you're just a few days away from Traeger Dam. So I mean, again, Brownwater's still a bit closer. There's not much in the way of settlements. Well, once you get east of Brownwater, not much in the way of settlements beyond that. I think we're a bit further east than Brownwater itself, but we might be the furthest east of any of the settlements within this region. Well, west, I mean, day's travel gets you to Shield Maiden's March.
Alright. I'm trying to see.
Nat 20.
With your nat 20, the rains here were worse than at Brownwater. You can see where a lot of the topsoil has actually been washed away, and normally you would have probably about 2 extra inches of topsoil covering where the fence posts are, but you can see it was probably washed into the canyon just to the south as it kind of slopes in that direction. Whatever footprints that were here were washed away. I mean, like I said, they were either very smart or very lucky. The only track you see plenty of Yolkep tracks and probably other people like circling around. Probably this guy on the Yolkep keeping like an outer perimeter, but you don't see any other tracks. Like literally, it happened that the night the rain started is when they got these Yolkeps.
I'm gonna dismount, go to the fence, and cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Start looking around. Go to roll me a perception check.
That's not bad. That's a 17.
17. As you approach where he's looking at, you can see a couple of pieces of wood are still connected to the fence itself. The pillars on each one are actually hollowed out. This oak is hollowed, and they run the wooden slat through it.
Yeah.
You can see one of the slats is broken and pushed. With your perception, it almost looks like dynamite went off in the air, because there's no damage to the ground itself. Almost like there's a bit of damage where you can see some earth has been tossed up, but it's mainly just the fence itself that looks like the central pillar between these two was just shattered and took most of the wood with it. Something had to hit it hard to do that. Well, when you get close and you see what he's looking at, you cast Detect Magic and you start looking around, and you get the faintest sense of magic lingering just shades of it on a couple of the pieces of wood that have been broken, and just the barest hint of specks of it littered across the ground.
Can I follow it and see if it maybe goes out?
It looks like it's localized in where that central pillar would be. That's where you're detecting. Once you get too far away, you no longer sense any of that magical energy.
So I'll check out the pillar.
Well, the central pillar is gone.
Okay.
I mean,
where it
it's
would
literally
be.
pieces. Yeah.
This was a magical attack.
So I'm headed hard.
With magic.
But can speak to Yolkeps. That's the only witnesses.
That's actually not a bad idea.
You can talk to Yolkeps.
I can, but I can't understand them. However, Dion could probably talk to them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm still making my way to the prairie dogs that just got.
I mean, the prairie dogs aren't too far away, so you can probably hear what they're saying.
What
Okay.
Yolkep?
Can you talk with them? You
What-
talk with them, right?
What Yolkep?
Witnesses.
Ooh. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm still making my way.
boy.
I'm not gonna.
You're
Rouse-
trying to,
rouse
you're trying to
the
rouse
prairie
them
dog.
out. Yeah. Go and roll me a hand animal check.
They are about to be roused. Oh,
They
come
are
on.
roused.
Roused, not aroused. Okay,
I said roused.
okay good.
It's a 22.
She's
22?
doing
It's a
a
net 20. It's
seduction
22.
roll,
22?
okay?
Despite your
So
friend
persuasion.
attempting to infiltrate their den with her foot, you are able to coax one of the more curious of the creatures as it kind of pokes its head out and then kind of comes forward a bit. And it doesn't pop its head out of the hole, but it looks up into your eyes.
Not yet. I'm pretty sure there's dried fruit in the iron ration. So.
Kind of moves forward. Bruce, grabs,
Yes.
as soon as it grabs it, takes it back and
Dion,
takes a bite, and then starts like rotating it around as it starts biting it.
Don't shoot it.
You
Yeah.
see what happened? See what happened?
I'll go
That
ahead.
happened?
Nothing.
What do you speak?
Sylvan.
Sylvan. Go ahead and roll me a history check real quick.
Da-da-da-da-da. That's gonna be wonderful. That's an 8.
8.
Doesn't
Most regular animals
I do not.
do not speak Sylvan. Usually, if they're connected to the Feywild, they will be intelligent enough to. But something like a prairie dog probably doesn't understand what you're saying.
Fanny, I want you to speak to Yolkeps.
What are you trying to do?
Talk to prairie dog.
Sorry, I
Can I
stepped
talk
on
to a
its
prairie
toe.
dog and be like, come on outside? Come on.
Hmm?
You can speak to animals, right?
Yeah, I can speak to
Okay.
animals.
So,
So
persuade.
can I.
uh,
We have the same ability, functionally speaking.
Kind of. Might have an advantage against persuasion checks on animals.
but how are you communicating? It's a hand animal thing, correct?
Mine is.
And let me know what yours is.
Yeah, I'm about to look it up just to make sure it's.
I have the ability to communicate with living
Actually,
beasts
where
and
would you
plants. They
go
can
for
understand
that?
the meaning of my words, so they have no special.
Yeah, yours is a magical ability that you have. Okay, and yours is just Sylvan, correct?
Hold on. Well, no, it's functionally the same as his. I gained Sylvan as a result of the ability. But I gotta find it real quick.
Okay.
No idea where it is. I don't even know.
It's got to be a druid ability, right?
Features and traits?
Yes.
Treats or traits?
I have advantage on all
Druids
persuasion
are
checks
speech words,
made
learn to speak,
influence.
and beasts can understand your speech. You gain the ability to decipher their
Okay,
noises
cool.
and
So
emotions.
yes, this
Speech of beast
is
and
so that is a beast. So yes, this is a natural beast. So this you could talk to, but it doesn't understand
Yeah,
Sylvan.
Yeah.
That's more like a
I'm
magical
I'm
beast.
speaking at it.
But yeah, but it
We are communicating in a
Yeah.
base fashion.
I can,
so what do you ask?
I point at the fence you see.
It kind of,
How it happened?
when you're 22, it kind of slowly peeks its head out and look, and comes back in and yeah,
Tell me.
big boom,
Hmm.
big boom, lots feet.
Where feet go?
It kind of lifts its head out and it points to the north,
Due north.
pretty much straight north.
Straight north out through the hole.
No, like it's out of the hole. It literally points.
I'm referring to the hole of the fence.
The hole in the fence is to your west at this point.
The last, but the
Forest
Yeah.
is the north, or
But they
No,
all-
forest is due east.
canyons?
What was north?
Due south.
We got him. We got him.
Yeah, you guys have
Yeah, we have a map.
We have a map file.
We have him.
We can just look at it. What's due north?
Open desert.
Oh.
Well, open Badlands.
Um,
How many? Well, you see what?
Man,
Point at at a human. I point at a human. I assume that the one who brought us here was a human. Like him.
man.
I'll give him another piece of fruit.
You can start eating that one.
You ever had prairie dog stew?
Thank you.
He's not noticing anything. He's actually.
I'll shoot it away. Shoot it
It
away.
goes back.
He can't understand what you said.
The prairie dogs know.
Oh, they know.
Episode
They know
46.
when they are watching.
The prairie dog revenge on Gunner.
Episode 6, control the rules secretly the whole time.
Yeah.
The prairie
The
dogs
prairie
were
dog
the
is
enemy.
actually
The prairie
big
dog
bad and boss.
mafia.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna do
Prairie dog
this.
mafia.
It's
So,
a prairie dog
Yeah.
mafia.
They go north.
They went north?
Mm.
What's north?
Open desert. Well, open Badlands. Unless, wait, which way is north? It is towards you in this map. Okay, just making sure.
up is north. Yeah.
Mm. Big, wide, open.
So,
Tia.
prairie dog.
Yeah.
Anything of import up north? Due north?
Well, I mean, Urik's up there, but you don't want to take branded Yolkeps up to Urik if you're not working for House Kreol, or they'll kill you. They'll kill you and take it back. Because we got no word from Urik. I doubt they went that direction. Ain't nothing there but that. I mean, you head any east, you're heading into Trackless Flats, and that ain't smart if you're trying to rustle cattle. I would say if you're doing anything in this area, you're trying to get them sold. And I look at the shadiest places, a lot of bad folk going to Vigor Ridge, a lot of bad folk in Hominu. Hominu is, they cling to the old ways, you understand, old family style. They don't care much for a menace law. if you
What
catch
is
my meaning.
Lochmora?
Oh, Lochmora, that's a derelict mine, not too far away from here. One time it was a copper mine. They found themselves quite a bit of work there, but it hasn't been used much in the last, probably 15, 20 years or so. It's not so safe no more, Wood rots. It's a relatively moist area. So it's not the safest place to be.
Go around the mountains.
What, you thinking they went to Lochmora?
Oh, no.
Well, if it's abandoned.
No,
it's there.
the town to the west.
Well,
That's the
Hominu?
mine.
Hominu is not a bad, wouldn't be a bad place to try to sell them. I mean, House Kreol got no clout within Hominu itself. I mean, if I was going to try to steal from them and sell it, that'd probably be one of the few places I'd sell it to. But getting a Hominu without being seen, escorting Kreol stock is, I mean, they definitely need to figure out a place to hide along the way.
Fanny, can you talk to Yolkeps? Same way with the... Yeah. Do you have Yolkeps that were not taken but in the same area?
I mean, we got Yolkeps that were stabled up outside, but they weren't really near it.
Yes, there might have seen.
I mean, you want to talk at a Yolkep, I mean, more power to you, but I don't know why you'd want to do something like that. I mean, you may as well just talk to a tree.
Should just talk to Prairie Dog.
Okay, she's talking at a hole, but okay.
Fanny, go talk to Yolkep.
Which one would see?
So it can be see a Yolkep that
Well,
is outside.
they don't really have names. We don't really keep track of who's who. You understand? Don't really have a list of Yolkeps for witness purposes. You understand?
I understand, but something I need to go off of.
And he just kind of looks at her and kind of chuckles to himself a bit. Okay. Well, you can talk to all the Yolkeps you want, but more time you waste, further away they get.
Any groups that maybe bandits or outlaws that use magic? What?
I mean, so everyone out in this area uses magic to some degree or other. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody fashioned a way to get through that, but I'm wondering how they managed to do that without making a whole lot of sound, you understand?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There was some magic involved in that attack.
Well, I would say so.
I'm gonna go find where's the nearest Yolkep corral.
From where you are, it's probably about 300-400 yards from where you guys are standing.
Yeah. In what direction?
To the west. I mean, literally, you're standing like you can walk through the corral itself. You can go through the corral, because you basically have to get to them.
I'll go. Yep. I guess I'll go ask the Yolkeps who saw
I'm
something.
trying to think if I know of any kind of magic that might have been capable of doing that. especially
Roll
with
me an
experience
Arcana
from
check.
Warren.
And
Silence.
go ahead and roll me one persuasion check, please.
That's an 8.
8. There's definitely magic that could do it. I mean, the war saw a arms race of magic for destructive purposes. I mean, yeah, there's definitely magic out there that could do something like this, but nothing that you would be able to identify that could do this without making a very, very huge racket.
Yeah, that's an 18.
18. The few that you talk to, as they're fairly ornery creatures, they kind of...
I scratched them under their chins.
They kind of speak in short, stilted phrases to you. Doesn't seem like any of them that knew or were around to see anything that happened. I mean, it's quite a ways away. I mean, from where they are, and there's a couple hundred Yolkep here if you want to interrogate each one.
I was gonna refer to them as a group. Do you know them? I saw something. Yeah, just a small one in the back.
Those are the couple that'll respond to you.
Yeah, there's a reason why I didn't go after the Yolkeps first.
So we wasted enough damn time.
Yeah, we can go follow
So you said
to the north.
According to Prairie Dog.
Got any other leads? Any other ideas?
I'm getting paid daily, like.
I don't think he agreed.
Yeah, he did.
Agreed to pay him daily.
Need the help.
Who's the dumb one now?
I am mounting up.
Teak looks at you all. Got everything you need?
For now. Yeah.
Alright, well,
Rations.
I might be able to give you a couple of days with the rations, but we're waiting for restocking from Uruk ourselves, so. But we might be able to part with a couple of days for each of you.
That would be much appreciated.
You guys can spend about an hour within Kreol Ranch, kind of stretching your legs. They will serve you a nice hot lunch. It's pretty bare bones. It's basically just a stew, tubers that grow in the area that they just kind of toss in with some meat. You look around, you don't really see any other kind of cattle. The only kind of animal here is Yolkep, so meat's pretty gamey too. Do with that as you will. But they'll give you a hot meal, send you out with a couple of days of iron rations, and let you be on your merry way.
Heading north.
Okay. So you go head back and follow it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to stop and talk to the daffodils, see if maybe they knew where they went to?
What?
I'm looking for evidence other than footprints at this point.
Well, we could do that.
Go ahead and roll me a survival check.
Is that good?
Okay, cool. That's 20.
20.
Not natural, naturally.
So
Actually, not natural.
as you guys begin to move north, you get up where Kreol Ranch sits. It sits fairly high up on that ridge, just to the north of that canyon. The ridge continues up a bit before sloping back down and heading towards Uruk. As you head up and hit the tallest point of that ridge, you happen to see what looks like a dried imprint of a Yolkep foot.
Which direction is that headed?
It is oriented to the west.
And we are suddenly turning due west.
Would that be? Yep.
Are they heading over and around the mountain range?
With that 20, it looks like they attempt to get high ground. It looks, from the timing that you can get, it looks as if these rustlers destroyed the fence probably right around sundown, maybe even a little before. Took the Yolkep, which probably took some time to get them all packed up and ready to go. Then headed north to that ridge when the rain started to try to keep it from getting washed away. Like this area, I mean, it slopes toward
Beware
a
flash
canyon.
flood.
Yeah, exactly. So they try to get up to that ridge, and thankfully, where that ridge is, water just kind of runs off, and these heavier Yolkep have left prints in that, and they seem to be heading almost due west at this point.
Over the mountain ridge? Oh,
Along
around
the ridge,
Okay.
using the ridge to their advantage.
Okay, then we're heading west.
Okay.
Heading west. Westward bound.
So as you guys continue to go out with your 20 survival check,
Shall I swap the cameras?
you guys heading from Kreol Ranch. By nightfall at this point, you will see what looks to be, in the distance, the beginnings of a man-made structure within the hills and borderline mountainous style hills. Very, very rocky hills, very similar to the ones that are just outside of Brown.
So we're close enough. We're within view of the mine.
It's still probably a quarter-day ride away, but I mean, this area is open land, and you have a clear line of sight to it. But at this point is where it's sun's starting to get real low.
Okay.
Sun's getting real low.
Sun's getting real low.
Oh, we keep going. Catch them in their sleep.
I don't know.
Well, we could probably try for that. It really depends on how much the Yolkeps go. We could do that.
Well, I'm still keeping my eyes out for tracks, and on the off chance that they turn somewhere.
So you're going.
It's going to get much harder with the to do the track. So what I need from each of you real quick is a handle animal check.
Hey, that's not bad.
Sweet.
16.
Mine is a 23.
15.
16.
My die keeps teasing me.
Sick. Alright, skills. Is it bad? Oh, 16.
16. Okay.
I
You
just
guys don't
do.
really have a problem
Yeah.
keeping the Yolkeps going. It seems as if as the sun starts to go down and it starts to cool down a bit,
can't
they seem to be fine to continue. They got a couple-hour break in the middle of the day. Seem to have done them well. About 2 hours of travel will get you all to where you're a few hundred yards away from what looks to be. You can see there is a wooden palisade that surrounds this area here that is completely blocked off from the direction that you all are headed. On the opposite side of it, you can see what looks to be a very tall, leaning, and decrepit wooden tower.
Does it look occupied at all?
Roll me a perception check. And by the way, roll me a survival check with disadvantage.
Where are you on the die? 19.
There's no lights. You don't really see any movement. You have.
Even with disadvantage, that's still 19.
Okay. You will see that the prints are heading directly towards that man-made structure.
No, I'm taking a closer look.
It's kind of hard to tell from this distance, but if anybody's in there, they're in a precarious situation. I mean, that tower looks like a strong wind could probably knock it over.
Considering what it survived before. I think following the tracks.
Just following the tracks?
Aye.
Okay. as you guys get closer, you will see. You guys just approach where the palisade is, correct? Or are you guys trying to make your way around?
I'm following where the tracks are going, man.
They're heading pretty much straight to there.
Alright.
Okay. And
Around it, if
Okay.
I can.
where you have two rocky hills that are next to each other, and the palisade going between them. You have a hill that you could circumvent around and see if there's another way into it from the other side.
How
If you
far
wish to do
away
that.
is it to the palisade?
From where you guys are currently standing, you got about 100 feet between you and the palisade right now.
I'll go up the hill.
You're gonna go ahead and head around.
off the Yolkep up the hill.
Oh, okay, so you're trying to climb that up? Okay. Go ahead and roll me an athletics check, please. So while he's doing this, and you're heading towards the palisade, what are the three of you doing?
Perfect, Jordan. I'm going to go up the hill now.
Jordan, what exactly are you gonna do?
Well, surprisingly, the big one has a good idea of seeing if there's anyone there. And if not, we might gain some advantage on seeing the area in its whole.
Oh, smart idea.
Yes, I'm going to go sneak now. Keep an eye on them.
And what she got?
Well, let's see.
I know,
You can roll
I'm
very
horrible at it.
And then falls on her face. And what was your athletics?
22.
22? Yeah, so it's a fairly hard climb. There's a lot of shale and loose rock trying to scramble up it, but you manage to make your way up. You get up probably about 40 feet off the ground. You can look over and you can actually see over this palisade, which is only about 10 to 12 feet high, and look into what appears to be a fairly open area with several buildings scattered throughout. It looks like a typical mining operation. Go and roll me a perception check, please. And what'd you roll?
10.
A 10?
No, not 10. 9.
9? So yeah, you see her attempt to slip away. It's dark. There's a lot of loose rock and shale beneath her feet, and she's slipping a bit, but where are you trying to head?
Up the hill.
With him?
Yeah.
So an athletics check as well.
19 again.
19 again? It looks like there is no movement. With the way the palisade is, you can see there's another palisade on the backside.
Mm-hmm.
The wind is buffeted against the palisade and doesn't seem to be getting into this interior area. You can barely see some ropes that hang from the tower that are just gently moving in the wind. But I mean, it is eerily quiet there. As you look just to the right of a building, you can see there is what looks to be the entrance itself of a mine that looks like it goes probably down first and then tunnels in. You can see the faintest glow of light emanating from the bottom of that entrance. Would you roll for athletics?
11.
11. So it takes you a while, but eventually you can get up to where Gunner is, and you see him looking inside. You say anything?
Light in the hole.
When he points it out, you can see, yeah, there's definitely and it's a flickering light. You can see the glow is moving a bit.
They went into. Let's go.
Or we wait till they make some noise and bushwhack 'em.
We'll most likely happen. Or we throw a rock down.
Then they know somebody's
Throw
up
the
here.
rock that way.
I don't like throwing rocks. It's a stereotype.
Stereotype?
Misconception about my people.
What is your people other than stupid South kids?
Lucky I don't throw you off this damn cliff. I'll make the all clear signal down to them.
You see Gunner waving at you guys.
Darius is just kind of not really paying attention much. He's kind of twitchy. He's muttering and Sylvan, looking a little bit more agitated than usual.
Okay.
I don't know. Does this palisade have a gate?
Wait, oh no, you're right there.
As you approach
You could.
this palisade looks like it is a solid structure. When you're looking inside, you can see the palisade on the other side. So if you were to circle around the hill to his left, there is a doorway that looks like it is open, and looks like the door has seen better days.
Is he nearby for me to hear what he's muttering and so?
Go to roll a perception check.
Like, Nat 20. I heard the hell out of
You
that.
you get a few words here and there, but he's muttering fairly low, but you manage to pick up a few words that he's saying, and you're just kind of cussing to yourself.
No, it's more of a not today, not today, not today,
Yeah.
not today.
So as he's repeating it, you hear that it's today, not today, not.
Hmm. Alright. Is there a place where these tracks are going to specifically?
Well, as you get to the palisade itself, they turn to the left, and they do seem to head around that little hillock, around to the other palisade on the opposite side, or the parallel side, perpendicular side. Sorry.
I'm gonna start walking that way unless someone stops me.
Okay. You two who are
Yeah,
watching
being-
see her Fionn walk around this.
Yeah, go ahead and jump off the Yolkep and be a little sneaky.
As you do that, it just kind of sits back, and it's like old man sit. It starts looking around, and then it reaches its little hand out and starts grabbing scrub grass and stuffing it into its mouth.
I'm gonna secure the Yolkeps real quick.
Okay.
These are the weirdest fucking chocobos I've ever seen, David.
Yeah, but they're not chocobos.
They're not birds.
They're not
They're
birds at all.
kangaroo lizards.
Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
they're basically kangaroo lizards. Gotta have some kind of something unique, you know. It's gotta be some originality. Can't have everything be like 2-feeted birds.
Chocobo lizards.
Yeah.
I'll make my way up to the edge of the hill.
Okay. So continue climbing up,
Just
or just trying to come around as much as you can.
get around to the side of the hill that faces the mine entrance.
Okay. It'll take some work, but with your athletics check, you're able to do that. As you get up there, you can see it's a fairly sizable drop from where you are now to get into there, but you might be able to work your way down to the palisade itself, and that wood is so kind of warped and old that it's got enough handholds that you might be able to work your way, inside the
I'll do
mining
that.
area. Okay.
With so many.
And what are you
squeaks and
doing, sir?
groans.
So wait for them to make noise.
I'm already working my way around to the palisade.
Go.
Okay.
Trying to sneaky again.
Go. It's the problem is this climb is kind of hard for you.
No.
So he's kind of making some noise too. It's just too hard to try to be stealthy here with everything just being loose, the loose pebbles and everything. But you, with your athletics check, you're at least able to follow him, though. He's about halfway down by the time you actually make it to the palisade and can begin your descent.
Do I notice she's struggling?
Would you care that she's struggling?
Are you
No. But I want to know if I notice.
What's your passive perception?
13.
13. So yeah, you'd probably see it. It's just it's a hard climb even for you, and with her small arms, she's literally having to like jump to get handholds and stuff. So yeah, it's just her size makes this much more difficult for her.
Big mouth, little arms.
Yeah, got a big head and really tiny arms. So I know what these three are doing. After you get the Yolkeps situated, what are you doing?
Just start heading up, following him while still muttering.
Following him or following Fionn?
I guess her then.
Fionn? Okay. And what about you? Fionn?
Yeah.
Okay. So the three of you make your way around. You all can approach this front gate. At one point, this place was probably very, very well maintained. Those days are long gone. The amount of wind and weather and just blistering heat that affects this area, most of the wood is cracked and warped. You can tell it's discolored from just being baked by the sun day after day after day. You can hear that gentle creaking of old iron hinges on the gate itself, just against the wind, just gently creaking as it just sits there suspended. As you all approach and can look in, you guys get a pretty clear view of those two on the side of that hill that are slowly making their way down into this place. And you all, as you approach, can see, like, you get your first looks of this. It looks like this was a mining facility. But from where your guys' current position is, you can't see where the mine entrance is.
Okay. Was the lunch enough to count as a short rest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys were there for probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours, waiting to get resupplied.
Sweet, I can do that again.
So, what are the two of you doing?
I point out the mine entrance to them.
Word in front of that. Yeah. I say
Yeah, he points like to your left. That looks like it's built into this smaller rocky hillock that abuts the other side of the palisade on this side.
Mhm.
So it's probably in that to your left.
How close are we from the entrance?
Probably 20 feet away from it.
Detect magic.
Okay. How long does it last?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay.
Yeah, 10 minutes concentration.
Okay. In your immediate 30-foot vicinity, you don't see any magic.
Just wanted to see if there's any magical traps and stuff.
Okay. So,
Dysentery.
Any big rocks nearby?
inside here, smaller rocks, not really anything too big. I mean, those would have been, destroyed or moved or broken up into gravel.
Any buildings close to the entrance?
There is a building that is directly adjacent to the entrance to this place.
Move over to that building.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me another perception check. At this point, you manage to get down as well. Arms are kind of shaking. You're kind of winded from the climb. You see him moving up to this building that looks like the front. Where, from what you can see, the front of the roof has been caved in a bit. I mean, it's not completely caved in, but you can see there's the size of the hole. And the building itself seems to be in relative disrepair. Though glass window panes are all blown out. There you can see bits of shards of glass in the corners of them, but you can't. I mean, the rest of the glass is destroyed.
Can I sneak up to at least the side or the side of an entrance to the mine?
Go ahead and roll me a stealth check. So,
20.
20? Okay. And then what are the three of you doing at this
Just
point?
following.
Seriously?
Moving around, following where the tracks actually went, which,
They
opposite
go
them.
straight inside.
Hi,
I'm gonna go inside.
I'll be,
As you guys approach
Poke
this,
my
when
head
you
around.
reach to the building, you can see as she saw this building it has seen better days. But as you look inside, the door itself looks like it's off of its hinge and it's just resting against the wall inside. As you kind of put your hands against the frame and go to look inside, you feel wetness on your left hand.
Look at it.
Piss.
It's blood.
Anything in the building?
Look around. It's real dark. You're
Dark vision?
you have dark vision or no? No,
Okay.
right? Yeah, yeah. So it's dark. It's dark.
Torch?
Okay, you can pull out a torch. Pull out your strike stick. Light torch. It takes a minute, but you can light it up, and suddenly light flares within that cabin as you guys see a tick, tick, tick. And there is a body in this place that looks like the top half of it has melted into the wooden floor and seems to be mixed with the wood itself. The bottom half, one of the legs has been torn apart out of the hip, and there's a trail, like literally a fling of blood across the wall where it looks like something literally ripped that off. The other one looks like it's covered in blood. You can see exposed bone. The pants are destroyed. You can make out no other features from the top half, as it literally looks like it's melted into the wood.
And it's fresh because the blood's still wet.
It's tacky still. It looks like it's probably happened yesterday because it hasn't completely dried, but there's some dryness to it.
Am I in the area yet? Or?
At this point, you can look. I mean, that light is almost, whoa, like that's a beacon, even through the boards of that building. I mean, again, the building is so dilapidated, there's space between every, so you can see him. You will probably even see him catch a noise like, whoa!
I'll head on over.
As the light with that, you can see it reflecting off the blood. That looks like it's a bloody handprint that was on the door frame.
Can I do a medicine check to see how they were killed or anything?
As you walk in and see it, it is a grisly sight. Go ahead and roll a medicine check.
Oh, that's crap. That is a 10.
With a 10, it looks like the top half of their body is melted, but it looks like most of the top half of the body is actually gone. And what you're seeing is the remnants of it that is melted into the wood itself. You're not entirely sure if this person died from blood loss, as you both now can clearly see the trail. Looks like they lost a leg, made their way inside, had arterial spray from their leg hit the walls, and then the rest of the whatever this thing is, whatever this material is that got it dumped on the top half of his body, just destroyed this thing.
How about we check the
Any
mine?
magic?
You detect no hints of magic yet
Okay.
from anything you've seen.
Probably good.
But there is an acrid, terrible stench of ammonia.
Just check the mine.
Probably
There's
good
a light
idea.
down there.
Get your weapons ready.
It's a little bit before this is when you'll actually approach the mine. Would you roll for yourself?
6.
6. So you're still tired, but you get to the
You're
entrance of the
tipping.
mine, kind of put your hand against the side of it and kind of catch your breath a bit. You can see there is a faint glow of light down there. This entrance to the mine looks to be a platform where you would put equipment or people, and you can see a mechanism nearby that looks like it's a winch that would lower it down. But the whatever platform it is not in its standard position. It is down at the bottom.
How well can I actually see in there when I look in?
Go to roll a perception check.
Do I get any advantage because of my really eyes?
No, you are
You
very
just can
tired.
see it. That's not bad. That's actually really good. Yep.
That's a 20.
20. You can see there are quite a few supports leading down this tunnel. The tunnel itself is probably about 50 feet deep, which is fairly deep for a mine in this area. I mean, you're kind of flirting with disaster at that point, when you start getting down this low. But the construction of the elevator itself, or the platform itself, seems to be in fairly decent condition. As you look down, you look over, you hear a soft crunching sound. And as you look down, your eyes kind of adjust a bit because you have that mixture of light and dark. You can see there appears to be a single torch that for some reason is not igniting the wooden platform that it is currently laying on as the flames erupt from it. About 10 feet away from it, kind of huddled on the platform on the other side, you see a Yolkep. It sits in a traditional fashion. It seems to be eating something. But from this distance, you can't tell what.
I'll make my way over to these. Whoever's close to the mine entrance now. Which one of you is close to the mine entrance?
I mean, at this point, you can see Fian, and you can probably see Darius as well.
I'm
I
right
know
at
that
the
they're
building
right there.
next to the entrance. So.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
just go
none of them
over
are too
there.
far away.
Quickly.
Hey, I guess I'm stepping it up.
Bacon.
Bacon.
Something sturdy I could tie a rope to.
There's the lift.
The mechanism itself, I mean, it's fairly, it looks like it's still in fairly good condition, and it looks like it's made of steel.
Would it support me?
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably support a lot more than your weight.
Tie a rope to the mechanism?
Why don't we just use the
Your
mechanism?
kip is down
Noisy.
the platform. Look,
Did
you
you
can
not
see
see-
it.
What, you afraid of a little climb?
No, I'm saying.
Weak
with-
little northern arms can't handle it?
What I'm saying is that
You have
with
you
the
have
scene in the other room, there might not be a need for stealth.
Might not. Might be.
Fair enough.
No one see torch?
No,
Not
my-
lighting fire to wood?
Where are the tracks going? And I am still
Oh,
following
speaking
those
of
things.
which-
The
down.
tracks themselves, it looks like once they get into here, they go in multiple directions. As you begin to start looking around, there are 3 buildings, fairly large buildings. The one that they went into, there's another one that is longer than that, that has a porch, an eave overhang, as well as another small building there. There looks to be, you can see footprints that look like they got off. They're human-sized footprints. They're booted prints that look like they walked into a couple of these buildings. You can see it looks as if all the Yolkeps were herded towards where this mine is.
Okay, then where they're in their direction?
Yeah, where you can see them standing there and looking. You can see her looking into it. You can see him contemplating tying a rope around the mechanism itself.
I'm tying a rope.
I'll
around
walk
the
over there and take a look.
You look down. She can point out to you, so it's easy for you to see that. You see a Yolkep that's on its haunches. Seems to be eating something. You can hear a very soft crunching sound emanating up from the tunnel. Go ahead and roll me a nature check real quick, please.
That is a 1.
1? Okay.
I shouldn't be down there. I know that much.
Am I able to see anything magical? It's 30 feet range, and is it still up?
No. At this point, it's still up, but it'll be running low pretty soon. You probably spent about 5 minutes examining the body to try to figure out what happened. When you look down the hole, the hole's just the tunnel itself is just too deep for you to be able to see the bottom of it. But I mean, putting 2 and 2 together, it looks as if that torch that's sitting. I mean, if it's not magical, like it would have caught fire, it would have burnt. Would have caught the wood on fire. And that's what that glow that you see from the top is. That's the only light source you guys can see down there.
Alright, let's head down there.
Kick the rope in.
Yeah.
You
And
hear
roll down.
you got a 50 feet of rope, right? So
Time the knot. It should
yeah,
be a few feet off.
you got about probably 8 feet from the ground
So
that you'll have to drop.
His height. I'll follow him.
Swing into the hole.
I turn into a small cat and jump on his back.
Okay. So,
Boink. Well, on his shoulders.
As you're doing that, and you jump on his shoulders, I'd like the 3 of you to go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
Perception. That is not bad for me. That is crap for me.
4.
4?
6.
14.
14?
I'm distracted.
You get a whiff of a very intense, terrible smell of ammonia.
Coming from in the mine or outside of the mine?
Definitely not emanating from the mine itself.
Smell it. Smells like ammonia
What could cause it?
coming from out here.
Out where?
Can I take an educated guess as to what kind of thing or creature would cause it?
Go ahead and roll me a nature check.
That is a natural 20, so 22.
Okay.
You know.
You know it's with the way the wind is slowly getting into this place. You're getting just the very edge of it as it's blowing from the palisade, but it's blowing from where if you look at the entrance from where you guys came in, it's coming from the back side, so probably from your right away from the mine.
Something
What?
very strong smell.
Do I hear him talking about
Over
this?
there. Like
How loud are you talking?
enough for us in the mine to hear, but not like screaming it.
So enough that with your passive perception you can hear that. So
I'll
you're
stop.
you're kind of
Pull myself back up over the edge.
okay. So go to roll me both of you a perception check as well.
Oh shit.
Well, natural 19. Yeah, you're gonna suck in combat. Pardon me.
Yeah. 22.
Mine is
Lady
shit. It's an 11.
Alondra, bless you.
Okay. As
Alright.
you pull
Wrong
yourself
campaign.
up, you put your hands up and you go to push yourself up and push yourself out of the hole. You look up and you happen to see 2 very widely spaced glints of green that's coming from the depths very deep inside the building on the left, from the opposite to the left of the mine itself.
Oh, we were just in?
No. The one that you guys went with is almost immediately to your right, almost directly to your right.
What does that mean?
Grab the torch and chuck it in
And
that
as
building.
well as with her, you get that smell.
Grab the torch and chuck it into that building.
Okay? So as you get out,
Whoa.
you guys can see him looking in that direction very intensely. And you were kind of smelling, and it's definitely coming from that direction, but you didn't notice anything else, just that very, very strong ammonia smell. Go ahead and roll me. Go to roll me strength and proficiency.
10.
10. Right as you throw it, it kind of flips end over end and clatters right at the entrance of that building that you're looking at, and you see the flame itself kind of gutters for a moment, and then slowly begins to rise again. And as it does, the light begins to spill over a strange, large, bug-like creature with large mandibles and antennae coming out of the front of its head. You hear a very loud, intense chittering sound as it lunges out of its hiding place. And that's where we're going to take a quick break. All right. We're going to go ahead and stretch our legs, and when we come back, we're going to have to deal with what just happened. We might have to go ahead and start with rolling up some initiative. We'll see.
All right.
Well,
conclusion of tonight's game session, starting with a mysterious creature rushing at them out of what looks to be its home. So let's see how this goes. Now, guys, we're going to go ahead and roll some initiative.
Which die should I roll? That's crap.
Ah! Oh my god, it's like Tristan all over again.
Oh dear God. I'm rolling well on initiative. This is not good.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so I'm looking for 20 to 15.
That is
20 to 15? 19.
20 to 15? 22.
22? And you said 19? That's it? No, nobody else? 20 to 15?
Nope.
15 to 10.
You are the worst.
10 to 5.
I got
Nope.
6.
Dayton got a 6.
Barely ever rolled above a
But you
10
got
on the
8.
die.
8. And Cher?
3.
You rolled a 1, huh?
Yes, I rolled a 1. That's
Wow.
what I'm saying. It is like Tristan all over again.
No, you have the higher
Shouldn't that be a
dice.
4 then?
No, I rolled a 1. I have.
Plus
Oh,
two.
yeah, you're right. Sorry, 4.
I mean, not that it
Math
matters.
is hard.
Man, that's
No,
not
I'm
even
looking
a.
at the proficiency bonus.
That's not even over one hand worth of fingers.
Right? Okay.
I don't talk about math
So,
after the TSI.
This strange bug-like creature. Let me see if I can get you guys. I should have already had this pulled up. I apologize. Give me 1 sec.
You know, that really sucks.
What fact?
I think changing back is a bonus action. But I have a few bonus actions I want to do, so it's kind of awkward.
I could throw you at it.
No.
Kitty versus kitty.
You gonna throw out
Okay.
what is a house cat?
This
Bug.
large insectoid creature has many legs, long antenna, twitching in responses to any kind of movement around it and seem to be moving in your direction. Its legs end in sharp hooks that seem to be very good at burrowing through very, very tough earth, and it has a powerful set of mandibles on the side of its face.
It's
Yeah.
a stiffy.
As it burst out of the front door of this building, you are the first that's able to react to it.
Am I allowed to summon the bear spirit in animal form?
No. Well, when you're in animal form, you have access to none of your abilities until higher level. And right now, you are a house cat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna change
You
it.
can see it really well.
To a regular cat, or
So I'm
to
changing
yourself?
to me.
Okay. So you drop the form. Okay.
Alright.
On his
And
shoulder.
very far. Needs to make a saving throw.
Okay. So that is a dexterity saving throw,
Yeah,
correct?
DC 13.
DC 13. Okay. Let me
Yeah,
see.
DC 13.
All right. Let's see. That is an 8. So that is going to be a failure.
Sweet,
Suddenly,
you're not
the
glowing.
creature begins to glow with purple energy, almost kind of coming like flames
Blue.
peeling off its blue energy,
Hmm.
almost like flames peeling off and away from its body. You all have advantage on attacks against the creature as long as he is maintaining concentration. You still have
Respect my
a
pronouns. Okay.
I'm sorry, she.
Let's see now. Where am I? My figure's not on there because I was tiny when it happened.
Okay.
Oh, there I am. Okay,
You just
cool.
turned from a cat into that.
Yeah, right.
Cat in the hat to that. Oh my god, you need to turn into a small cat and then jump into somebody's hat so I can call you the cat in the hat.
I'm just gonna back up.
And,
You know,
and
I guess
upper
trying to
right
get
here
what
is
little-
right where the palisade is.
Get a little bit of cover. Yeah, I can't get any cover
Okay.
from this thing.
Sophia, that's going to end your turn. We're over to Gunner.
Sweep the coat back, quick draw, and nail the cat.
You have
And
advantage.
aim and fire at the giant insect creature.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
13?
13 is... It bounces right against the chitinous plate of this insect. Like creature.
Action surge. Go
Okay.
again.
Oh, that's better.
20.
20 is a hit. Your second shot, this time you aim. It hits one of its plates, and now you can see that the plates overlap. You aim in between two of the plates right around what passes for this creature's neck. Take aim and fire. Damage, please.
11.
11 points of damage. This thing chitters in pain. that smell of ammonia suddenly becomes much stronger. You still have a movement action. Go ahead and take it. Okay, so stand your ground. This creature now begins to rush forward. It is going to stop right here, turn. It opens its mouth and spits a line of thick, gooey, acidic spittle straight over in an arcing slop that's going to, I'm going to need a
Well, there's a reason why I went for the building.
dexterity saving throw from Cheer, Dakin, and from Darius.
Oh, why would you do that to me, David?
Because I love you so much. I hurt you
Hey,
because I love you.
I rolled well. That is an 11.
11?
10.
10? 5. Wow, okay.
We all take 4
So,
damage.
all 3 of you take 13 points of acid damage
Oh,
as this spittle
damn.
lands on your body and begins sizzling away at your skin and your clothing.
Wait, oh, dang, I don't have a...
And that smell of ammonia now is so powerful it's making your eyes water. That is going to end its turn. Darius, we are over to you.
You just hear like a loud screaming come from Darius as he tears off his coat, pulls out the thing that he kept with the long thing of cloth, strips that off and jams it into his gun barrel. His hair goes black, his skin goes paler, that his green eyes are like flaring green, and the tattoos on his arms fade away with like a pop of magic of a seal being broke as he rages. And he just screams
That's a bonus action?
Yep, raging. He screams out his name. And now it's time for Draven! And he fucking sprints over.
30 feet will get you right here.
Yep, and then he makes a swing with his greatsword
Roll.
pistol combo.
Roll to hit.
What language did you scream that?
Common.
Sylvan.
Oh, Sylvan? Okay.
Yeah.
We have no idea what he's saying.
Oh,
8. I
8.
miss.
So that first hit,
Yeah, right.
that you're so blinded with
With
rage
advantage?
from the pain that your first
With
swing.
with advantage?
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Yeah, you got it.
Advantage.
Yeah, so 19 plus 5.
Okay, so even with all the anger, rage, the acid dripping from your forehead and almost blinding you, you swing the first time, it clangs off its armor, you bring back around and bring it down as hard as you can, and you hear a sickening crunch. Damage, please.
It's 1d12, right?
No, Greatsword? Greatsword is a 2d6.
Yep, 2d6. 9.
Plus strength.
Plus 3.
Plus rage damage is, I think, a plus 2 at your level.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
14.
14 points. Well, it's one of its center leg, one of its 3 legs on the center section on the left side, just slops to the floor as your sword cuts right through it. Yeah, that ammonia smell continues to grow stronger, and that chittering now is in your ears, just trying to drive you mad, but the rage just pushes it out.
He's just cackling and just like salivating and
Take it.
twirling and shit.
Alright, so I'm gonna channel divinity.
Okay.
Hold up. Are they both within 30 feet of me?
Right now, everybody's
Yes.
within 30
Alright.
feet.
Pretty much everyone who lost his points, I have 10 points worth of healing to give to everyone, but no more than half their maximum hit points.
Yeah, you can't put anybody above. Is anybody so that's not going to affect you two.
Yeah. It's gonna
So how much are you going to try to give to her?
Wonderful.
I'm gonna give myself 5, and then actually I can give myself 4, 3.
Okay, so you heal 3, you heal 3, you heal 4.
Yeah.
And that does not take you above half hit points, correct? Okay, and no? Okay.
Well, 17 out of 27. That would,
You're at 17 out of 27, so it wouldn't affect you.
Okay, then because I have it, I can spend it. That's the thing.
I was at 10 of 23, so now I'm at 13 of 23.
So you could, so yeah, that one you'd only get to 12.
Okay, then I heal myself to half.
Okay. All right. So that is your standard action. You still have a move and a bonus.
I'm gonna get closer to them.
Right here?
A bonus action. who looks hurt? Like, oh, after that, who looks kind of the most hurt?
Well, they're both still dripping with that ichor, so it's really hard to tell which one looks worse than the other.
Alright, so. I'm gonna cast Healing Word.
Roll a d4 plus
For
5,
me,
correct?
no. Well, for everyone else, that's 3. Actually, yeah, plus. No, it's plus 6.
Plus 6? Okay.
D4 plus 6. Healing Word. Nice.
So 10. 10 to you. Okay, so Dakin, that is all of your actions.
Yep.
Cheer, we're over to you.
I'm gonna back up. And she got it.
You gonna back up?
You have advantage.
Okay.
I have advantage.
Roll the hit.
Right? Yes. Okay, I'm going to actually do a bonus action.
Okay.
You know what I'm going to do.
What are you doing?
For the-
So you slide your thumb along the blade that sits at the front of the barrel. Blood drips into the barrel itself. You take aim and fire.
That must hurt you do that all the time. Some scar.
Yeah, it's not unlike, taking a blood test when you've got
Remember to
diabetes.
adjust your hit points.
Well, perhaps a little worse. It's a lot of blood.
You know what this music reminds me of?
Huh.
It's
Land of the Lost.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, roll a hit.
It's a. I'm sorry, how much?
Are you wanting your floor shine zipper?
It's an
please?
extra d4.
Extra d4. Thank you.
So how many dice are you rolling? Should be 2d6 and a d4.
Yeah.
Okay. So you should
Now you
should
know,
just roll the d20s first.
Now you know more about my character.
No shit.
20.
20 is a hit. Damage, please.
What a twist.
10 regular damage and 2 lightning damage.
As she takes aim, that crack of thunder that you guys heard the last time she was in a fight that you could almost mistake for thunder in the sky above you, this time there's no mistaking as lightning arcs from the barrel of her gun and slams into the side of the creature, knocking it 2 feet to the side. You see electricity cascade across its body as it chitters even louder in anger. Cheer, you still have movement if you'd like to use it.
Can I hide behind the building a bit?
Well, the building, this is literally the entrance to the mines. You cannot get behind it.
Okay, so.
You could try to run into this building where they found the dead guy.
No.
You're good where you're at?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Okay. All right.
And so I just real quick question. I take the.
You take 2 points of damage.
Yeah.
And your
And
maximum hit
reduce
points is
to
reduced
2.
by 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Fionn, we are back to you.
Like that. To move over to here. And you see a ghostly spirit walk out of Fionn to this point.
Haha, I
And the
actually have something for this.
Where'd
you go?
I don't know where to put it.
I had something for this!
While you're saying that, I'm going to continue. And now you all have 7 temporary hit points.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Because you're all well within range of this.
Oh, there it is.
We all have 7 temporary hit
Oh,
points.
can you guys
Aha!
pass me dry erase?
Right
Wonderful.
here, right?
It is
Yeah, do we have dry erase?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, we have a bunch of dry erase.
We have 2 around the side.
Gracias.
it is a rather large-looking tiger with golden eyes.
All right, and so at the start of their turn, they will be healing D6, correct?
Oh no, there's no healing there. No, and that would only occur as a result of me doing. That's not the unicorn. That's the bear.
Oh, okay.
So, oh, and you have advantage on strength checks
Okay.
Actually,
Anything
that.
else?
while you're within the order, and of course, 7 temporary health points.
Okay, so you both have both of you, correct? It's within 10 feet?
It's within 30 feet.
30 feet? So
That's
right
everybody.
now, everybody has
That's
just
everybody.
7 temporary hit points. Gunner, we're over to you.
Let's put another round into it.
Okay, roll a hit.
18 plus.
18 plus is definitely a hit.
Sorry, tracking animal.
No problem.
Oh, it's strength checks and saving throws. Keep that in mind.
Oh, same.
9?
Or strength saving.
Plus 2 for duelists, so
Okay.
11.
So
again.
11, yep. As you take aim and fire,
let's
the
try to
mandible on the
like
right
that.
side, you manage to hit right at the joint, and the mandible flies off in the air. You hear it chittering even more as blood starts to drip out of its face and splatter onto the ground. It is not looking very good. It is now its turn. Let's see if it recharges its ability. It does not. So, this thing is going to attempt to bite into you. Sorry, what's your name?
Draven.
Draven. It's going to try to bite into your chest, Draven. Draven, that is a natural 18, so 23.
Okay, so hits.
Okay, so you take 11 points of slashing damage, reduced to 5.
So none. Well, yeah, 5 temporary hit points,
so you have 2 temporary hit points left, and you take 8 points of acid damage, so 6 points of acid damage.
Oh, this is not good.
I need you. You are currently grappled as well. This thing now puts one mana into you, puts one of its legs on you, and is trying to hold you there.
Okay.
And you are out of melee range. It is going to attempt to pull you back half speed with it.
Okay, that's an opposed.
No, it's just moving you.
It's got the grapple.
Yeah, it has the grapple already. It's just moving you slowly. Its speed is half to try to do it. Darius, it is your turn. Or Draven, it is your turn.
I'm going to try to out-grapple it.
Alright, breaking the grapple is an opposed check. You can attack it.
No, it's still there.
But you would have
This one isn't
disadvantage.
a spell.
But because you have advantage, it would cancel out. But if you try to break through, that is your action for the turn. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'm just going to fucking just keep haymakering it.
Okay, roll a straight 1d20.
No.
Plus your typical stuff.
So a total plus 7.
That is a 12.
If you're just attacking it, you do
12?
have advantage.
He has disadvantage because he's grappled. This creature, when you're grappled, this creature, you have disadvantage.
Okay. Right.
So he just goes right
These creatures.
Okay,
Cheating
when you're
creatures have
grappled,
special
you are attacking the creature's underbelly. So while it's grappling you, it has an 11 AC.
Watch out.
It's harder to hit, but it's got a lower AC because you do have disadvantage. But it seems to be softer on the plates under. The plates under are not nearly as hard. You aim for one of those, and you kind of jam your sword up into it. Go ahead and roll a hit.
As he's doing that, though, you just see him sink his fucking newly fanged teeth into his fucking just.
Well, yeah, you're trying to bite the carapace as much as you can.
Fucking plus 3, so.
So it should be 15 total, right?
Well,
3 plus 2 plus 10.
16 plus 2 on strength would be plus 4, right?
Well, you have 2 for your rage, 3
Yeah.
for your strength, so that's 5.
15.
So 15 total.
Yeah.
As you just take a step back and you rip your chest out of this thing's grab. I mean, it cuts into you, but you don't even care. You set yourself with both your feet planted firmly in the ground, and you shove upward with your greatsword. It goes straight through the softer carapace at its front and penetrates the back of it. You literally lift the creature almost off of its feet, but the thing weighs almost half a ton. As you push it up, its legs start writhing as it just starts to move and move and move, and then slowly begins to. And you just ignore the acidic blood that it starts dripping on your arms, just gritting your teeth against it, taking another 2 points of acid damage. And when the creature finally stops moving, Draven, you pull your sword from its chest and it lands on the ground in a heap.
And I keep hacking away at its corpse.
You end up taking another 3 points of acid damage just from the flinging acid as you are like cutting into this creature as much as you can, as the 4 of you watch as Darius, now with black hair, no
You're
tattoos
negative.
upon his body, no cigarette in his mouth, screaming in a voice that you don't recognize, in a language that most of you don't understand, as he chops this creature to itty bitty bits.
Crack the cylinder.
And I think this is a perfect place for us to go ahead and stop for tonight and pick this up next week with a revelation of somebody in the party not being exactly who he says he was, and with the death of this strange, carapace, large, bug-like creature. Hopefully we'll have our Pauls back next week, and we can get Joe here so we can get the whole group.
That's the dream.
That's the hope, right? That we can finally get to do that one day. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a shorter game session today, but we got a whole lot of stuff that we got to do. I'm going to be ripping a roof apart tomorrow, so I'm going to be in the sun all day. I want to make sure I can get plenty of sleep. Thank you all very, very much for joining us. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to MGS. Thank you to Davis Tiles and Terrain. Thank you to Game Vault. Once again, thank you to Beatrice at Babchart. We absolutely love your stuff. And thank you to anybody who's watching us. We really appreciate it. No offense to anybody, we don't really do this for the views. We do this for ourselves. There's nothing like being able to listen, having like a living,
nonsense. We want the views. Don't listen to them.
But no, like having a living like history of what we're doing is great, because I can always go back and listen to a session if I forgot something or I need to listen. It's the best notes ever, for everything that I say, which is nice, because that means I'm taking less notes during the game. But we would love to see, we'd love to get as many views as we can, get more people watching us. Hope you guys are entertained by us. Know that it's kind of a slower burn game, but there's definitely combat and danger, as you guys took a whole lot of damage right there in a single round. So that's. It's definitely not easy. So
now you know why.
Once again, thank you very, very much for joining us. I hope you all have a great week. We love you, El Paso. You're always still going to be in our hearts for forever, since we live here. Thank you all very much, and remember to keep rolling the dice. Good night, everybody.